Richard III by William Shakespeare. The play takes place during the 30-year series of civil wars that occurred in 15th century England between two rival factions of Plantagenets, the House of York, represented by the White Rose, and the House of Lancaster, represented by the Red Rose. These conflagrations came to be known as the Wars of the Roses. Edward IV of the House of York has been crowned King of England for the second time, after defeating once more the Lancastrians at the decisive battles of Barnet and Tewkesbury, and having their king, Henry VI, and his son, Edward, assassinated. His reign has heralded a period of relative peace. However, those who seek justice, revenge, and power, although quieted, will not be forever silenced. Richard, Duke of Gloucester, younger brother to King Edward IV, during this break from bloody war and assassinations of his family's enemies, has had time to think.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this son of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarums changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass, I, that am rudely stamped, and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I, that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world, scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them, why I, in this weak-piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to see my shadow in the sun and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain those fair well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate, the one against the other. And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be mewed up about a prophecy that says that G, of Edward's heirs, the murderer shall be. Dive thought down to my soul, here Clarence comes.
Enter Clarence, under guard, accompanied by Sir Brackenbury.
Brother, good day. What means this armed guard that waits upon your grace?
His Majesty, tendering my person's safety, hath appointed this conduct to convey me to the Tower.
Upon what cause?
Because my name is George.
Alack, my lord, that fault is none of yours. He should for that commit your godfather's. Oh, belike his Majesty hath some intent that you should be new christened in the Tower. But what's the matter, Clarence? May I know?
Yea, Richard, when I know, for I protest as yet I do not. But as I can learn, he hearkens after prophecies and dreams, and from the crossrow plucks the letter G, and says a wizard told him that by G his issue disinherited should be. And for my name of George begins with G, it follows in his thought that I am he. These, as I learn, and such like toys as these, have moved his highness to commit me now.
Why, this it is when men are ruled by women. 'Tis not the king that sends you to the Tower, My Lady Grey, his wife, Clarence, 'tis she that tempers him to this extremity. Was it not she and that good man of worship, Anthony Woodville, her brother there, that made him send Lord Hastings to the Tower, from whence the present day he is delivered? We are not safe, Clarence, we are not safe.
By heaven, I think there is no man secure, but the Queen's kindred and night-walking heralds that trudge between the King and Mistress Shore. Heard you not what a humble suppliant Lord Hastings was to her for his delivery?
Humbly complaining to her deity got my Lord Chamberlain his liberty. I'll tell you what, I think it is our way, if we will keep in favour with the King, to be her men and wear her livery. The jealous o'erworn widow and herself, since that our brother dubbed them gentlewomen, are mighty gossips in our monarchy.
I beseech your graces both to pardon me. His Majesty hath straitly given in charge that no man shall have private conference of what degree soever with your brother.
Even so, and please your worship, Brackenbury, you may partake of anything we say. We speak no treason, man. We say the king is wise and virtuous, and his noble queen well struck in years, fair and not jealous. We say that Shore's wife hath pretty foot, a cherry lip, a bonny eye, a passing, pleasing tongue, and that the queen's kindred are made gentlefolks. How say you, sir? Can you deny all this?
With this, my lord, myself have naught to do.
Not to do with Mr. Shore? I tell thee, fellow, he that doth not with her excepting one, were best to do it secretly, alone.
I do beseech your grace to pardon me, and withal forbear your conference with the noble duke.
We know thy charge, Brackenbury, and will obey.
We are the queen's abjects, and must obey. Brother, farewell. I will unto the king, and whatsoever you will employ me in, were it to call King Edward's widow, sister, I will perform it to enfranchise you. Meantime, this deep disgrace in brotherhood touches me deeper than you can imagine.
I know it pleaseth neither of us well.
Well, your imprisonment shall not be long. I will deliver you, or else lie for you. Meantime, have patience.
I must perforce. Farewell.
Exit Clarence, Brackenbury, and guards.
Go tread the path that thou shalt ne'er return. Simple plain Clarence, I do love thee so that I will shortly send thy soul to heaven, if heaven will take the present at our hands. But who comes here? The new delivered Hastings.
Good time of day unto my gracious lord.
As much unto my good Lord Chamberlain. Well are you welcome to the open air. How hath your lordship brooked imprisonment?
With patient, noble lord, as prisoners must. But I shall live, my lord, to give them thanks that were the cause of my imprisonment.
No doubt, no doubt. And so shall Clarence too. For they that were your enemies are his, and have prevailed as much on him as you.
More pity that the eagles should be mewed, whilst kites and buzzards prey at liberty.
What news abroad?
No news so bad abroad as this at home. The king is sickly, weak, and melancholy, and his physicians fear him mightily.
Now by St. John that news is bad indeed. Though he have kept an evil diet long, and overmuch consumed his royal person, 'tis very grievous to be thought upon. Where is he, in his bed?
He is.
Go you before, I will follow you.
Exit Hastings.
He cannot live, I hope, and must not die till George be packed with post-horse up to heaven. I'll in to urge his hatred more to Clarence with lies well steeled with weighty arguments, and if I fail not in my deep intent, Clarence hath not another day to live. What's done, God take King Edward to his mercy, and leave the world for me to bustle in, for then I'll marry Warwick's youngest daughter. What though I killed her husband and her father? The readiest way to make the wench amends is to become her husband and her father, the which will I not all so much for love as for another secret close intent by marrying her which I must reach unto. But yet I run before my horse to market. Clarence still breathes, Edward still lives, and reigns. When they are gone, then must I count my gains.
Act 1, Scene 2. Lady Anne, widow to Edward, the son of the late Lancastrian king Henry VI, has taken on the task of seeing to the honourable burial of the body of the dead royal. She enters accompanied by bearers who shoulder the remains of her father-in-law.
Set down your honourable load, if honour may be shrouded in a hearse, whilst I awhile obsequiously lament the untimely fall of virtuous Lancaster.
The bearers set down the body.
Poor key-cold figure of a holy king, pale ashes of the house of Lancaster, thou bloodless remnants of that royal blood, be it lawful that I invocate thy ghost to hear the lamentations of poor Anne, wife to thy Edward, to thy slaughtered son, stabbed by the self-same hand that made these wounds. Lo, in these windows that let forth thy life I pour the helpless balm of my poor eyes. O cursed be the hand that made these holes, cursed the heart that had the heart to do it, cursed the blood that let this blood from hence. More direful hap betide that hated wretch that makes us wretched by the death of thee than I can wish to wolves, to spiders, toads, or any creeping venomed thing that lives. If ever he have child, abortive be it, prodigious and untimely brought to light, whose ugly and unnatural aspect may fright the hopeful mother at the view, and that be heir to his unhappiness. If ever he have wife, let her be made more miserable by the death of him than I am made by my young lord and thee. Come now, towards Chertsey with your holy load, taken from Paul's to be interred there.
The bearers take up the bier.
And still, as you are weary of this weight, rest you, whiles I lament King Henry's cause.
Enter Richard.
Stay, you that bear the corse, and set it down.
What black magician conjures up this fiend to stop devoted charitable deeds?
Villain, set down the corse, or by St. Paul I'll make a corse of him that disobeys.
My lord, stand back, and let the coffin pass.
Unmannered dog, stand thou when I command. Advance thy halberd higher than my breast, or by St. Paul I'll strike thee to my foot, and spurn upon thee, beggar, for thy boldness.
They set down the bier.
What, do you tremble? Are you all afraid? Alas, I blame you not, for you are mortal, and mortal eyes cannot endure the devil. Avaunt, thou dreadful minister of hell! Thou hast but power over his mortal body, his soul thou canst not have. Therefore be gone.
Sweet saint, for charity, be not so cursed.
Foul devil, for God's sake, hence and trouble us not, for thou hast made the happy earth thy hell, filled it with cursing cries and deep exclaims.
She points to the corpse.
If thou delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold this pattern of thy butcheries. O gentlemen, see dead Henry's wounds open their congealed mouths and bleed afresh. Blush, thou lump of foul deformity, for 'tis thy presence that exhales this blood from cold and empty veins where no blood dwells. Thy deeds, inhuman and unnatural, provokes this deluge most unnatural. O God, which this blood madest, revenge his death. O earth, which this blood drink'st, revenge his death. Either heaven with lightning strikes the murderer dead, or earth gape open wide and eat him quick as thou dost swallow up this good king's blood, which his hell-governed arm hath butchered.
Lady, you know no rules of charity, which renders good for bad, blessings for curses.
Villain, thou knowest nor law of God nor man. No beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity.
But I know none, and therefore am no beast.
Oh, wonderful when devils tell the truth.
More wonderful when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe, divine perfection of a woman, of these supposed crimes, to give me leave by circumstance but to acquit myself.
Vouchsafe, diffused infection of a man, of these known evils, but to give me leave by circumstance to curse thy cursed self.
Fairer than tongue can name thee, let me have some patient leisure to excuse myself.
Fouler than heart can think thee, thou canst make no excuse current but to hang thyself.
By such despair I should accuse myself.
And by despairing shalt thou stand excuse for doing worthy vengeance on thyself that didst unworthy slaughter upon others.
Say that I slew them not.
Then say they were not slain, but dead they are, and devilish slave by thee.
I did not kill your husband.
Why, then he is alive.
Nay, he is dead, and slain by Edward's hands.
In thy foul throat thou liest. Queen Margaret saw thy murderous falchion smoking in his blood, the which thou once didst bend against her breast, but that thy brothers beat aside the point.
I was provoked by her slanderous tongue that laid their guilt upon my guiltless shoulders.
Thou wast provoked by thy bloody mind that never dreamest on aught but butcheries. Didst thou not kill this king?
I grant you.
Dost grant me, hedgehog? Then God grant me too, thou mayest be damned for that wicked deed. Oh, he was gentle, mild, and virtuous.
The better for the King of heaven that hath him.
He is in heaven, where thou shalt never come.
Let him thank me that hoped to send him thither, for he was fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place else, if you will hear me name it.
Some dungeon.
Your bedchamber.
I'll rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
So will it, madam, till I lie with you.
I hope so.
I know so. But, gentle lady, and to leave this keen encounter of our wits and fall something into a slower method, is not the causer of the timeless deaths of these Plantagenets, Henry and Edward, as blameful as the executioner?
Thou wast the cause, and most accursed effect.
Your beauty was the cause of that effect. Your beauty, that did haunt me in my sleep, to undertake the death of all the world, so I might live 1 hour in your sweet bosom.
If I thought that, I tell thee, homicide, these nails should rend that beauty from my cheeks.
These eyes could not endure that beauty's rack. You should not blemish it if I stood by. As all the world is cheered by the sun, so I by that. It is my day, my life.
Black night o'ershade thy day, and death thy life.
Curse not thyself, fair creature, thou art both.
I would I were, to be revenged on thee.
It is a quarrel most unnatural to be revenged on him that loveth thee.
It is a quarrel just and reasonable to be revenged on him that killed my husband.
He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband.
'Tis better doth not breathe upon the earth.
He lives that loves thee better than he could.
Mean him.
Plantagenet,
Why, that was he.
that self-same name, but one of better nature.
Where is he?
Here,
She spits on him.
why dost thou spit at me?
Would it were mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came poison from so sweet a place.
Never hung poison on a fouler toad. Out of my sight, thou dost infect mine eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine.
Would they were basilisks to strike thee dead.
I would they were, that I might die at once, for now they kill me with a living death. Those eyes of thine from mine have drawn salt tears, shamed their aspects with store of childish drops. These eyes which never shed remorseful tear. No, when my father York and Edward wept to hear the piteous moan that Rutland made when black-faced Clifford shook his sword at him, nor when thy warlike father like a child told the sad story of my father's death, and 20 times made pause to sob and weep, that all the standers by had wet their cheeks like trees bedashed with rain. In that sad time my manly eyes did scorn a humble tear. And what these sorrows could not thence exhale, thy beauty hath, and made them blind with weeping. I never sued to friend nor enemy, my tongue could never learn sweet smoothing word. But now thy beauty is proposed my fee. My proud heart sues and prompts my tongue to speak.
She looks scornfully at him.
Teach not thy lips such scorn, for it was made for kissing, lady, not for such contempt. If thy revengeful heart cannot forgive,
He gives Anne his sword.
Lo, here I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword, which if thou please to hide in this true breast, and let the soul forth that adoreth thee, I lay it naked to the deadly stroke, and humbly beg the death upon my knee.
He kneels, opens his shirt, and bares his chest.
Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry, but 'twas thy beauty that provoked me. Nay, now dispatch, 'twas I that stabbed young Edward, but 'twas thy heavenly face that set me on.
Anne drops the sword.
Take up the sword again, or take up me.
Arise, dissembler. Though I wish thy death, I will not be thy executioner.
Richard rises to his feet.
Then bid me kill myself, and I will do it.
I have already.
That was in thy rage. Speak it again, and even with the word, this hand which for thy love did kill thy love, shall for thy love kill a far truer love. To both their deaths shalt thou be accessory.
I would I knew thy heart.
'Tis figured in my tongue.
I fear me both are false.
Then never was man true.
Well, put up your sword.
Say then my peace is made.
That shalt thou know hereafter.
But shall I live in hope?
All men I hope live so.
Vouchsafe to wear this ring.
He removes a large ring from his middle finger.
To take is not to give.
He places the ring on her hand.
Look how my ring encompasseth thy finger. Even so thy breast encloseth my poor heart. Wear both of them, for both of them are thine. And if thy poor devoted servant may but beg one favour at thy gracious hand, thou dost confirm his happiness forever.
What is it?
That it may please you leave these sad designs to him that hath most cause to be a mourner, and presently repair to Crosby House, where, after I have solemnly interred at Chertsey Monastery this noble king, and wet his grave with my repentant tears, I will with all expedient duty see you. For divers unknown reasons, I beseech you, grant me this boon.
With all my heart, and much it joys me too to see you are become so penitent. Treswell and Berkeley, go along with me.
Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve, but since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already.
Anne exits. The bearers lift up the king's body.
Towards Chertsey, noble lord?
No, to Whitefriars. There attend my coming.
They exit with the body.
Was ever woman in this humour wooed? Was ever woman in this humour won? I'll have her, but I will not keep her long. What? I that killed her husband and his father, to take her in her heart's extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, the bleeding witness of my hatred by, having God, or conscience, and these bars against me, and I no friends to back my suit at all, but the plain devil and dissembling looks, and yet to win her, all the world to nothing. Ah! Hath she forgot already that brave prince, Edward, her lord, whom I some 3 months since stabbed in my angry mood at Tewkesbury? A sweeter and a lovelier gentleman, framed in the prodigality of nature, young, valiant, wise, and, no doubt, right royal, the spacious world cannot again afford. And will she yet abase her eyes on me, that cropped the golden prime of this sweet prince and made her widow to a woeful bed? On me, whose all not equals Edward's moiety, on me that halt and am misshapen thus. My dukedom to a beggarly denier, I do mistake my person all this while. Upon my life, she finds, although I cannot, myself to be a marvellous proper man. I'll be at charges for a looking-glass, and entertain a score or 2 of tailors to study fashions to adorn my body. Since I am crept in favor with myself, I will maintain it with some little cost. But first I'll turn yon fellow in his grave, and then return lamenting to my love. Shine out, fair sun, till I have bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass.
Act 1, Scene 3. Enter Queen Elizabeth, Dorset, Rivers, and Grey.
Have patience, madam. There's no doubt his majesty will soon recover his accustomed health.
In that you brook it ill, it makes him worse. Therefore, for God's sake, entertain good comfort, and cheer his grace with quick and merry eyes.
If he were dead, what would betide on me?
No other harm but loss of such a lord.
The loss of such a lord include all harms.
The heavens have blessed you with a goodly son to be your comforter when he is gone.
Ah, he is young, and his minority is put into the trust of Richard Gloucester, a man that loves not me nor none of you.
Is it concluded he shall be protector?
It is determined, not concluded yet, but so must it be if the king miscarry.
Here comes the Lord of Buckingham and Derby.
Good time of day unto your royal grace.
God make your majesty joyful as you have been.
The Countess Richmond, good my Lord Derby, to your good prayer will scarcely say amen. Yet, Derby, notwithstanding, she's your wife, and loves not me. Be you, good lord, assured, I hate not you for her proud arrogance.
I do beseech you either not believe the envious slanders of her false accusers, or if she be accused on true report, bear with her weakness, which I think proceeds from wayward sickness and no grounded malice.
Saw you the king today, my lord of Derby?
But now the Duke of Buckingham and I are come from visiting his majesty.
What likelihood of his amendment, lords?
Madam, good hope, his grace speaks cheerfully.
God grant him health. Did you confer with him?
Aye, madam, he desires to make atonement between the Duke of Gloucester and your brothers, and between them and my Lord Chamberlain, and sent to warn them of his royal presence.
Would all were well, but that will never be. I fear our happiness is at the height.
Enter Richard and Hastings.
They do me wrong, and I will not endure it. Who is it that complains unto the king that I forsooth am stern and love them not? By holy Paul, they love his grace but slightly, that fills his ears with such dissentious rumours. Because I cannot flatter and look fair, smile in men's faces, smooth, deceive, and cog, duck with French nods and apish courtesy, I must be held in rancorous enemy. Cannot the plain man live and think no harm, but thus his simple truth must be abused with silken, sly, insinuating jacks?
To who in all this presence speak, your grace?
To thee, that hast nor honesty nor grace. When have I injured thee? When done thee wrong? Or thee? Or any of your faction? A plague upon you all! His royal grace, whom God preserve better than you would wish, cannot be quiet, scarce a breathing, while you must trouble him with lewd complaint.
Brother of Gloucester, you mistake the matter. The king, on his own royal disposition, and not provoked by any suitor else, aiming belike at your interior hatred that in your outward action shows itself against my children, brothers, and myself, makes him to send that he may learn the ground.
I cannot tell. The world is grown so bad that wrens make prey where eagles dare not perch. Since every jack became a gentleman, there's many a gentle person made a jack.
Come, we know your meaning, Brother Gloucester. You envy my advancement and my friends. God grant we never may have need of you.
Meantime, God grants that we have need of you. Our brother is imprisoned by your means, myself disgraced, and the nobility held in contempt, while great promotions are daily given to ennoble those that scarce some 2 days since were worth a noble.
By him that raised me to this careful height, from that contented hap which I enjoyed, I never did incense his majesty against the Duke of Clarence, but have been an earnest advocate to plead for him. My lord, you do me shameful injury, falsely to draw me in these vile suspects.
You may deny that you are not the mean of Lord Hastings' late imprisonment.
She nay, my lord, for—
She may, Lord Rivers? Why, who knows not so? She may do more, sir, than denying that. She may help you to many fair preferments, and then deny her aiding hand therein, and lay those honours on your high desert. What, may she not? She may, aye, marry may she.
What, marry may she?
What marry may she? Marry with a king, a bachelor, and a handsome stripling too. I was your grandam had a worser match.
My lord of Gloucester, I have too long borne your blunt upbraidings and your bitter scoffs. By heaven I will acquaint his majesty of those gross taunts that oft I have endured. I had rather be a country servant maid than a great queen with this condition, to be so baited, scorned, and stormed at.
Enter Queen Margaret, eavesdropping.
Small joy I have in being England's queen.
And lessened be that small, God, I beseech him. Thy honour, state, and seat is due to me.
What? Threat you me with telling of the king? Tell him and spare not. Look, what I have said I will avouch it in presence of the king. I dare adventure to be sent to the Tower. 'Tis time to speak. My pains are quite forgot.
Out, devil! I do remember them too well. Thou killedst my husband Henry in the Tower, and Edward, my poor son, at Tewkesbury.
Ere you were queen, I or your husband king, I was a pack-horse in his great affairs, a weeder out of his proud adversaries, a liberal rewarder of his friends. To royalize his blood I spent mine own.
Aye, and much better blood than his or thine.
In all which time you and your husband Grey were fractious for the house of Lancaster, and Rivers so were you. Was not your husband in Margaret's battle at St. Alban slain? Let me put in your minds, if you forget what you have been ere this, and what you are, with all what I have been and what I am.
A murderous villain, and still thou art.
Poor Clarence did forsake his father Warwick, aye, and forswore himself, which Jesu pardon.
Which God revenge.
To fight on Edward's party for the crown, and for his meed, poor lord, he is mewed up. I would to God my heart were flint like Edward's, or Edward's soft and pitiful like mine. I am too childish foolish for this world.
Hie thee to hell for shame, and leave this world, thou Campbell-beman. There thy kingdom is.
My lord of Gloucester, in those busy days which here you urged to prove us enemies, we followed then our lord, our sovereign king. So should we you, if you should be our king.
If I should be, I had rather be a peddler. Far be it from my heart the thought thereof.
As little joy, my lord, as you suppose you should enjoy were you this country's king, as little joy you may suppose in me that I enjoy being the queen thereof.
As little joy enjoys the queen thereof, for I am she, and altogether joyless. I can no longer hold me patient.
Queen Margaret steps forward.
Hear me, you wrangling pirates that fall out in sharing that which you have piled from me. Which of you trembles not that looks on me? If not that I am queen, you bow like subjects, yet that by you deposed you quake like rebels. Ah, gentle villain, do not turn away.
Foul wrinkled witch, what makest thou in my sight?
But repetition of what thou hast marred. That will I make before I let thee go.
Wilt thou not banish it on pain of death?
I was, but I do find more pain in banishment than death can yield me here by my abode. A husband and a son thou owest to me.
To Queen Elizabeth.
And thou a kingdom, all of you allegiance. This sorrow that I have by right is yours, and all the pleasures you usurp are mine.
The curse my noble father laid on thee, when thou didst crown his warlike brows with paper, and with thy scorns drewest rivers from his eyes, and then to dry them gavest the Duke a clout steeped in the faultless blood of pretty Rutland. His curses, then, from bitterness of soul denounced against thee, are all fallen upon thee, and God, not we, hath plagued thy bloody deed.
So just is God to right the innocent.
Oh, 'twas the foulest deed to slay that babe, and the most merciless that e'er was heard of.
Tyrants themselves wept when it was reported.
No man but prophesied revenge for it.
Northumberland, then present, wept to see it.
What? Were you snarling all before I came, ready to catch each other by the throat, and turn you all your hatred now on me? Did York's dread curse prevail so much with heaven that Henry's death, my lovely Edward's death, their kingdom's loss, my woeful banishment, should all but answer for that peevish brat? Can curses pierce the clouds and enter heaven? Why then give way, dull clouds, to my quick curses. Though not by war, by surfeit die your king, as ours by murder to make him king. Edward, thy son, that now is Prince of Wales, for Edward our son that was Prince of Wales, die in his youth by like untimely violence. Thyself a queen, for me that was a queen. Outlive thy glory, like my wretched self. Long mayest thou live to wail thy children's death, and see another, as I see thee now, decked in thy rights, if thou art stalled in mine. Long die thy happy days before thy death, and after many lengthened hours of grief, die neither mother, wife, nor England's queen. Rivers and Dorset, you were standers by, and so wast thou, Lord Hastings, when my son was stamped with bloody banners. God, I pray him that none of you may live his natural age, but by some unlooked accident cut off.
Have done thy charm, thou hateful withered hag?
And leave out thee. Stay, dog, for thou shalt hear me. If heaven have any grievous plague in store, exceeding those that I can wish upon thee, oh, let then keep it till thy sins be ripe, and then hurl down their indignation on thee, the troubler of the poor world's peace. The worm of conscience still begnaw thy soul. Thy friends suspect for traitors while thou livest, and take deep traitors for thy dearest friends. No sleep close up that deadly eye of thine, unless it be while some tormenting dream affrights thee with a hell of ugly devils. Thou elvish, marked, abortive, rooting hog, thou that wast sealed in thy nativity, the slave of nature and son of hell, thou slander of thy heavy mother's womb, thou loathed issue of thou father's loins, thou rag of honor, thou detested—
Margaret!
Richard!
Huh?
I call thee not.
I cry thee mercy then, for I did think that thou hadst called me all these bitter names.
Why, so I did, but looked for no reply. Oh, let me make the period of my curse.
'Tis done by me, and ends in Margaret.
Thus have you breathed your curse against yourself.
Poor painted queen, vain flourish of my fortune, why strewest thou sugar on that bottled spider, whose deadly web ensnareth thee about? Fool, fool, thou wettest enough to kill thyself. The day will come when thou shalt wish for me to help thee curse this poisonous bunch-backed toad.
False boding woman, end thy frantic curse, lest to thy harm thou move our patience.
Foul shame upon you! You have all moved mine.
Were you well served, you would be taught your duty.
To serve me well, you all should do me duty. Teach me to be your queen, and you my subjects. Oh, serve me well, and teach yourselves that duty.
Dispute not with her, she is lunatic.
Peace, Master Marquis, you are malapert. Your fire-new stamp of honor is scarce current. Oh, that your young nobility could judge what 'twere to lose it and be miserable. They that stand high have many blasts to shake them, and if they fall, they dash themselves to pieces.
Good counsel, Mary. Learn it, Marquis.
It touches you, my lord, as much as me.
Aye, and much more. But I was born so high. Our eyrie buildeth in the cedar's top, and dallies with the wind, and scorns the sun.
And turns the sun to shade. Alas, alas, witness my son now in the shade of death, whose bright outshining beams thy cloudy wrath hath in eternal darkness folded up. Your eyrie buildeth in our eyrie's nest. O God, but seest it, do not suffer it. As it is one with blood, lost be it so.
Peace, peace, for shame, and not for charity.
Urge neither charity nor shame to me.
Addressing the others.
Uncharitability with me have you dealt, and shamefully my hopes by you are butchered. My charity is outrage, life my shame, and in that shame still live my sorrow's rage.
Have done, have done.
O princely Buckingham, I'll kiss thy hand in sign of league and amity with thee. Now fair befall thee and thy noble house. Thy garments are not spotted with our blood, nor thou within the compass of my curse.
Nor no one here, for curses never pass the lips of those that breathe them in the air.
I will not think but they ascend the sky, and there awake God's gentle sleeping peace. O Buckingham, take heed of yonder dog. Look, when he fawns, he bites, and when he bites, his venomed tooth will rankle to the death. Have naught to do with him, beware of him. Sin, death, and hell have set their marks on him, and all their ministers attend on him.
What doth she say, my lord of Buckingham?
Nothing that I respect, my gracious lord.
What? Dost thou scorn me for my gentle counsel, and soothe the devil that I warn me from? Oh, but remember this another day, when he shall split thy very heart with sorrow, and say poor Margaret was a prophetess. Live each of you the subjects to his hate, and he to yours, and all of you to God's.
Margaret exits.
My hair doth stand an end to hear her curses.
And so doth mine. I muse why she's at liberty.
I cannot blame her. By God's holy mother she hath had too much wrong, and I repent my part thereof that I have done to her.
I never did her any to my knowledge.
Yet you have all the vantage of her wrong. I was too hot to do somebody good. That is too cold in thinking of it now. Marry, as for Clarence, he is well repaid. He is franked up to fetting for his pains. God pardon them, they are the cause thereof.
A virtuous and a Christian-like conclusion to pray for them that have done scathe to us.
So do I ever, being well advised, for had I cursed now, I had cursed myself.
Enter Catesby.
Madam, his majesty doth call for you, and for your grace, and yours, my gracious lords.
Catesby, I come. Lords, will you go with me?
We wait upon your grace.
All exit, except for Richard.
I do the wrong, and first began to brawl. The secret mischiefs that I set abroach, I lay unto the grievous charge of others. Clarence, who I indeed have cast in darkness, I do beweep to many simple goals, namely to Derby, Hastings, Buckingham, and tell them 'tis the Queen and her allies that stir the King against the Duke my brother. Now they believe it, and withal wet me to be revenged on Rivers, Dorset, Grey. But then I sigh, and with a piece of scripture tell them that God bids us do good for evil. And thus I clothe my naked villainy with odd old ends stolen forth of Holy Writ, and seem a saint, when most I play the devil. But soft, here come my executioners. How now, my hardy, stout, resolved mates? Are you now going to dispatch this thing?
We are, my lord, and come to have the warrant that we may be admitted where he is.
Well thought upon. I have it here about me. When you have done, repair to Crosby Place. But, sirs, be sudden in the execution, withal obdurate. Do not hear him plead, for Clarence is well spoken, and perhaps may move your heart to pity if you mark him.
Tut, my lord, we will not stand to prate.
talkers are no good doers. We go to use our hands and not our tongues.
Your eyes drop millstones, from fools' eyes fall tears. I like you, lads. About your business straight. Go dispatch.
We will, my noble lord.
Act 1, Scene 4. Clarence in his cell. His keeper approaches.
Why looks your grace so heavily today?
Oh, I have passed a miserable night, so full of fearful dreams, of ugly sights, that, as I am a Christian, faithful man, I would not spend another such a night, though 'twere to buy a world of happy days, so full of dismal terror was the time.
What was your dream, my lord? I pray you tell me.
Methought that I had broken from the tower, and was embarked to cross to Burgundy, and in my company my brother Gloucester, who from my cabin tempted me to walk upon the hatches. Thence we looked toward England, and sighted up 1,000 heavy times during the wars of York and Lancaster that had befallen us. As we paced along upon the giddy footing of the hatches, methought that Gloucester stumbled, and in falling struck me, that thought to stay him, overboard into the tumbling billows of the main. O Lord, methought what pain it was to drown, what dreadful noise of waters in my ears, what sights of ugly death within my eyes. Methoughts I saw 1,000 fearful wrecks, 1,000 men that fishes gnawed upon, wedges of gold, great anchors, heaps of pearl, inestimable stones, unvalued jewels, all scattered in the bottom of the sea. Some lay in dead men's skulls, and in the holes where eyes did once inhabit, there were crept, as it were, in scorn of eyes, reflecting gems that wooed the slimy bottom of the deep, and mocked the dead bones that lay scattered by.
Had you such leisure in the time of death to gaze upon these secrets of the deep?
Methought I had, and often did I strive to yield the ghost, but still the envious flood stopped in my soul and would not let it forth to find the empty, vast, and wandering air, but smothered it within my panting bulk, who almost burst to belch it in the sea.
Awaked you not in this sore agony?
No. My dream was lengthened after life. Oh, then began the tempest to my soul. I passed, methought, the melancholy flood with that sour ferryman which poets write of, unto the kingdom of perpetual night. The first that there did greet my stranger soul was my great father-in-law, renowned Warwick, who spake aloud, "What scourge for perjury can this dark monarchy afford false Clarence?" And so he vanished. Then came wandering by a shadow like an angel with bright hair dabbled in blood, and he shrieked out loud, "Clarence is come, false, fleeting, perjured Clarence, that stabbed me in the field at Tewkesbury. Seize on him, Furies, take him unto torment." With that, methoughts a legion of foul fiends environed me, and howled in mine ears such hideous cries that with the very noise I trembling waked, and for a season after could not believe but that I was in hell. Such terrible impression made my dream.
No marvel, lord, though it affrighted you. I am afraid, methinks, to hear you tell it.
Ah, Keeper, I have done these things that now give evidence against my soul for Edward's sake, and see how he requites me. O God, if my deep prayers cannot appease thee, but thou wilt be avenged on my misdeeds, yet execute thy wrath in me alone. O spare my guiltless wife and my poor children. Keeper, I pray thee sit by me a while. My soul is heavy, and I fain would sleep.
I will, my lord. God give your grace good rest.
Clarence sleeps. Enter the murderers.
Oh, who's here?
What wouldst thou, fellow, and how camest you hither?
I would speak with Clarence, and I came hither on my legs.
What, so brief?
'Tis better, sir, than to be tedious. Let him see our commission and talk no more.
The second murderer gives the jail-keeper the warrant.
I am in this commanded to deliver the noble Duke of Clarence to your hands. I will not reason what is meant hereby, because I will be guiltless from the meaning. Here lies the Duke asleep, and there's the keys.
I'll to the king and signify to him that thus I have resigned to you my charge.
You may, sir. 'Tis a point of wisdom. Fare you well.
What, shall I stab him as he sleeps?
No, he'll say 'twas done cowardly when he wakes.
Why, he shall never wake until the judgment day.
Why, then he'll say we stabbed him sleeping.
The urging of that word judgment hath bred a kind of remorse in me.
What, art thou afraid?
Not to kill him, having a warrant, but to be damned for killing him, from which no warrant can defend me.
I thought thou hadst been resolute.
So I am, to let him live.
I'll back to the Duke of Gloucester and tell him so.
Nay, I pray thee, stay a little. I hope this passionate humour of mine will change. It was wont to hold me, but while one tells 20.
How dost thou feel thyself now?
Faith, some certain dregs of conscience are yet within me.
Remember our reward when the deed's done.
Zounds, he dies. I had forgot the reward.
Where's thy conscience now?
Oh, in the Duke of Gloucester's purse.
When he opens his purse to give us our reward, thy conscience flies out.
'Tis no matter. Let it go. There's few or none will entertain it.
What if it come to thee again?
I'll not meddle with it. It makes a man a coward. A man cannot steal, but it accuseth him. A man cannot swear, but it chicks him. A man cannot lie with his neighbour's wife, but it detects him. 'Tis a blushing, shamefaced spirit that mutinies in a man's bosom. It fills a man full of obstacles. It made me once restore a purse of gold that by chance I found. It beggars any man that keeps it. It is turned out of towns and cities for a dangerous thing, and every man that means to live well endeavours to trust himself and live without it.
Zounds, 'tis even now at my elbow, persuading me not to kill the Duke.
Take the devil in thy mind, and believe him not. He would insinuate with thee, but to make thee sigh.
I am strong-framed. He cannot prevail with me.
Spoke like a tall man that respects thy reputation. Come, shall we fall to work?
Take him on the costard with the hilt of thy sword, and then throw him into the Malmsey butt in the next room.
Oh, excellent device, and make a sup of him.
Soft he wakes.
Strike!
No, more reason with him.
Where art thou, keeper? Give me a cup of wine.
You shall have wine enough, my lord, anon.
In God's name, what art thou?
A man, as you are.
But not as I am, royal.
Nor you as we are, loyal.
Thy voice is thunder, but thy looks are humble.
My voice is now the king's, my looks mine own.
How darkly and how deadly dost thou speak. Your eyes do menace me. Why look you pale? Who sent you hither? Wherefore do you come?
To
murder me?
Aye.
You scarcely have the heart to tell me so, and therefore cannot have the heart to do it. Wherein, my friends, have I offended you?
Offended us you have not, but the king.
I shall be reconciled to him again?
Never, my lord. Therefore prepare to die.
Are you drawn forth among a world of men to slay the innocent? What is my offence? Where is the evidence that doth accuse me? What lawful quest have given their verdict up unto the frowning judge? Or who pronounced the bitter sentence of poor Clarence' death before I be convict by course of law? To threaten me with death is most unlawful. I charge you, as you hope to have redemption by Christ's dear blood shed for your grievous sins, that you depart and lay no hands on me. The deed you undertake is damnable.
What we will do, we do upon command.
And he that command is our king.
Erroneous vassals, the great King of kings hath in the table of his law commanded that thou shalt do no murder. Will you then spurn at his edict and fulfill a man's? Take heed, for he holds vengeance in his hand to hurl upon their heads that break his law.
And that same vengeance doth he hurl on thee, for fault for swearing and for murder too. Thou didst receive the sacrament to fight in quarrel of the house of Lancaster.
And like a traitor to the name of God, didst break that vow, and with thy treacherous blade unrippedst the bowels of thy sovereign son.
Whom thou wast sworn to cherish and defend.
How canst thou urge God's dreadful law to us when thou hast broke it in such dear degree?
Alas, for whose sake did I that ill deed? For Edward, my brother, for his sake, he sends you not to murder me for this. For in that sin he is as deep as I, if God will be avenged for the deed. Oh, know you yet he does it publicly. Take not the quarrel from his powerful arm. He need no indirect or lawless course to cut off those that have offended him.
Who made thee then a bloody minister, when gallant, springing, brave Plantagenet, that princely novice, was struck dead by thee?
My brother's love, the devil, and my rage.
Thy brother's love, our duty, and thy faults provoke us hither now to slaughter thee.
If you do love my brother, hate not me. I am his brother, and I love him well. If you are hired for meed, go back again, and I will send you to my brother Gloucester, who shall reward you better for my life than Edward will for tidings of my death.
You are deceived. Your brother Gloucester hates you.
Oh no, he loves me, and he holds me dear. Go you to him from me.
Aye, so we will.
Tell him, when our princely father York blessed his 3 sons with his victorious arm, he little thought of this divided friendship. Bid Gloucester think of this, and he will weep.
Aye, millstones, as he lessoned us to weep.
Oh, do not slander him, for he is kind.
Bright as snow in harvest. Come, you deceive yourself. 'Tis he that sends us to destroy you here.
It cannot be, for he bewept my fortune, and hugged me in his arms, and swore with sobs that he would labor my delivery.
Why, so he doth, when he delivers you from this earth's thraldom to the joys of heaven.
Make peace with God, for you must die, my lord.
Have you that holy feeling in your souls to counsel me to make my peace with God? And are you yet to your own souls so blind that you will war with God by murdering me? Oh, sirs, consider, they that set on you to do this deed will hate you for the deed.
What shall we do?
Relent and save your souls. Which of you, if you were a prince's son, being pent from liberty as I am now, if 2 such murderers as yourself came to you, would not entreat for life? Aye, you would beg were you in my distress.
Relent? No, 'tis cowardly and womanish.
Not to relent is beastly, savage, devilish.
To the second murderer.
My friend, I spy some pity in thy looks. Oh, if thine eye be not a flatterer, come thou on my side, and entreat for me. A begging prince, what beggar pities not?
Look behind you, my lord.
Clarence turns. The first murderer stabs him in the back.
Take that, and that. If all this will not do, I'll drown you in the mumpsy butt within.
The first murderer exits with the body.
A bloody deed and desperately dispatched. How fain, like Pilate, would I wash my hands of this most grievous murder.
How now? What meanest thou that thou helpest me not? By heavens, the Duke shall know how slack you have been.
I would he knew that I had saved his brother. Take thou the fee, and tell him what I say, for I repent me that the Duke is slain.
The second murderer exits.
So do not I. Go, coward as thou art.
Well, I'll go hide the body in some hole till that the Duke give order for his burial, and when I have my meed, I will away, for this will out.
And then I must not stay.
Act 2, Scene 1. King Edward IV, now mortally ill, is ecstatic at his success in mediating a peaceful resolution to the deep divisions among the members of the nobility. Enter King Edward, Elizabeth, Dorset, Rivers, Hastings, Buckingham, and Grey.
Why so? Now have I done a good day's work. You peers, Continue this united league. I every day expect an embassage from my Redeemer to redeem me hence, and more in peace my soul shall part to heaven, since I have made my friends at peace on earth. Rivers and Hastings, take each other's hand. Dissemble not your hatred, swear your love.
Rivers and Hastings reluctantly oblige.
By heaven my soul is purged from grudging hate, and with my hand I seal my true heart love.
So thrive I, as I truly swear the like.
Take heed you dally not before your king, lest he that is the supreme king of kings confound your hidden falsehoods and award either of you to be the other's end.
Hastings and Rivers come together again.
So prosper I, as I swear perfect love.
And I, as I love Hastings with all my heart.
The king to Queen Elizabeth.
Madam, yourself is not exempt from this, nor you, son Dorset, Buckingham, nor you. You have been factious one against the other. Wife, love Lord Hastings. Let him kiss your hand, and what you do, do it unfeignedly.
There, Hastings, I will never more remember our former hatred, so thrive I and mine.
Hastings kisses her hand.
Dorset, embrace him. Hastings, love Lord Marquis.
This interchange of love, I here protest, upon my heart shall be inviolable.
And so swear I.
Hastings and Dorset embrace.
Now, princely Buckingham, seal thou this league with thy embracements to my wife's allies, and make me happy in your unity.
Buckingham to Queen Elizabeth.
Whenever Buckingham doth turn his hate upon your grace, but with all duty's love doth cherish you and yours, God punish me with hate in those where I expect most love. When I have most need to employ your friend, and most assured that he is a friend, deep, hollow, treacherous, and full of guile be he unto me. This do I beg of God when I am cold in love to you and yours.
A pleasing cordial, princely Buckingham, is this thy vow unto my sickly heart. There wanteth now our brother Gloucester here to make the blessed period of this peace.
And in good time. Here comes Sir Richard Ratcliffe and the Duke.
Enter Richard and Ratcliffe.
Good morrow to my sovereign king and queen, and princely peers. A happy time of day.
Happy indeed, as we have spent the day. Brother, we have done deeds of charity. May peace of enmity, fair love of hate, between these swelling, wrong, insensate peers.
A blessed labour, my most sovereign lord. Amongst this princely heap, if any here by false intelligence or wrong surmise hold me a foe, if I unwittingly or in my rage have aught committed that is hardly borne by any in this presence, I desire to reconcile me to his friendly peace. 'Tis death to me to be at enmity. I hate it, and desire all good men's love. First, madam, I entreat true peace with you, which I will purchase with my duty's service. Of you, my noble cousin Buckingham, if ever any grudge were lodged between us. Of you, Lord Rivers, and Lord Grey, of you. Dukes, earls, lords, gentlemen, indeed of all. I do not know that Englishman alive with whom my soul is any jot at odds more than the infant that is born tonight. I thank my God for my humility.
A holy day shall this be kept hereafter. I would to God all strifes were well compounded. My sovereign lord, I do beseech your highness to take our brother Clarence to your grace.
Why, madam, have I offered love for this, to be so flouted in this royal presence? Who knows not that the gentle duke is dead?
They all start in surprise.
You do him injury to scorn his course.
Who knows not he is dead? Who knows he is?
All saying, Heaven, what world is this?
Look I so pale, Lord Dorset, as the rest?
Ay, my good lord, that no man in the presence but his red colour hath forsook his cheeks.
Is Clarence dead? The order was reversed.
But he, poor man, by your first order died, and that a winged Mercury did bear. Some tardy cripple bare the countermand that came too lag to see him buried. God grant that some, less noble and less loyal, nearer in bloody faults and not in blood, deserve not worse than wretched Clarence did, and yet go currents from suspicion.
Enter Lord Stanley, Earl of Derby. He kneels.
A boon, my sovereign, for my service done.
A pretty peace. My soul is full of sorrow.
I will not rise unless your highness hear me.
Then say at once, what is it thou request?
The forfeit, sovereign, of my servant's life, who slew today a riotous gentleman, lately attendant on the Duke of Norfolk.
Have I a tongue to doom my brother's death, and shall the tongue give pardon to a slave? My brother killed no man, his fault was fault, and yet his punishment was bitter death. Who sued to me for him? Who in my wrath knew that my feet and bade me be advised? Who spoke of brotherhood? Who spoke of love? Who told me how the poor soul did forsake the mighty Warwick, and did fight for me? Who told me in the field at Tewkesbury, when Oxford had me down, he rescued me, and said, "Dear brother, live and be a king"? Who told me when we both lay in the field frozen almost to death, how he did lap me even in his garments, and did give himself all thin and naked to the numb-cold night? All this from my remembrance, brutish wrath sinfully plucked, and not a man of you had so much grace to put it in my mind. But when your cottars or your waking vassals have done a drunken slaughter and defaced the precious image of our dear Redeemer, you stridger on your knees for pardon. Pardon! And I unjustly too must grant it you.
Stanley rises.
But for my brother not a man would speak, nor I, ungracious, speak unto myself for him, poor soul. The proudest of you all have been beholding to him in his life, yet none of you would once beg for his life? O God, I fear thy justice will take hold on me, and you, and mine, and yours for this. Come, Hastings, help me to my closet. Paul, Clarence.
Hastings must half carry the king out. Queen Elizabeth, Rivers, Dorset, and Grey follow.
This is the fruits of rashness. Marked you not how that the guilty kindred of the queen looked pale when they did hear of Clarence's death? Oh, they did urge it still unto the king. God will revenge it. Come, lords, will you go to comfort Edward with our company?
We wait upon your grace.
Act 2, Scene 2. Enter Queen Elizabeth, Rivers, and Dorset.
Oh, who shall hinder me to wail and weep, to chide my fortune and torment myself? I'll join the black despair against my soul, and to myself become an enemy.
Enter the Duchess of York, mother to King Edward, Clarence, and Richard.
What means this scene of rude impatience?
To make an act of tragic violence. Edward, my lord, thy son, our king, is dead. Why grow the branches when the root is gone? Why wither not the leaves that want their sap? If you will live, lament. If die, be brief, that our swift-winged souls may catch the kings, or like obedient subjects follow him to his new kingdom of ne'er-changing night.
Oh, so much interest have I in thy sorrow as I had title in my noble husband. I have bewept the worthy husband's death, and lived with looking on his images. But now 2 mirrors of his princely semblance are cracked in pieces by malignant death, and I for comfort have but 1 false glass that grieves me when I see my shame in him. Thou art a widow, yet thou art a mother, and hast the comfort of thy children left. But death has snatched my husband from mine arms, and plucked 2 crutches from my feeble hands, Clarence and Edward.
Mother, bethink you, like a careful mother, of the young prince your son. Send straight for him, let him be crowned, in him your comfort lives. Drown your sorrow in dead Edward's grave, and plant your joys in living Edward's throne.
Enter Richard, Buckingham, Stanley, Hastings, and Ratcliffe.
Sister, have comfort. All of us have cause to wail the dimming of our shining star. None can help our harms by wailing them. Madam, my mother, I do cry you mercy, I did not see your grace. Humbly on my knee, I crave your blessing.
Richard kneels.
God bless thee, and put meekness in thy breast, love, charity, obedience, and true duty.
Amen.
Richard stands.
And make me die a good old man. That is the but end of a mother's blessing. I marvel that her grace did leave it out.
You, my cloudy queen, and heart-sorrowing peers, that bears this heavy mutual load of moan, now cheer each other in each other's love. Though we have spent our harvest of this king, we are to reap the harvest of his son. The broken rancor of your high-swollen hates, but lately splintered, knit and joined together, must gently be preserved, cherished, and kept. Meseemeth good that with some little train forthwith from Ludlow the young prince be fet hither to London to be crowned our king.
Why with some little train, my lord of Buckingham?
Marry, my lord, lest by a multitude the new-healed wound of malice should break out, which would be so much the more dangerous by how much the estate is green and yet ungoverned. Where every horse bears his commanding rein, and may direct his course as please himself, as well the fear of harm as harm apparent, in my opinion, ought to be prevented.
I hope the king made peace with all of us, and the compact is firm and true in me.
And so in me, and so I think in all. Yet since it is but green, it should be put to no apparent likelihood of breach, which haply by much company might be urged. Therefore I say with noble Buckingham, that it is meet so few should fetch the prince.
And so say I.
Then be it so, and go we to determine who they shall be that straight shall post to Ludlow. Madam, and you, my sister, will you go to give your censures in this business?
Queen Elizabeth and the Duchess agree. All exit except for Buckingham and Richard.
My lord, whoever journeys to the prince, for God's sake, let not us two stay at home. For by the way I'll sort occasion, as index to the story we late talked of, to part the queen's proud kindred from the prince.
My other self, my counsel's consistory, my oracle, my prophet, my dear cousin, I, as a child, will go by thy direction. Toward Ludlow, then, for we'll not stay behind.
Act 2, Scene 3. Enter the Archbishop of York, Queen Elizabeth, with her young son, the Duke of York, and the Duchess.
Last night, I hear, they lay at Stony Stratford, and at Northampton they do rest to-night. Tomorrow or next day they will be here.
I long with all my heart to see the prince. I hope he has much grown since last I saw him.
But I hear no. They say my son of York has almost overtaken him in his growth.
Aye, mother, but I would not have it so.
Why, my good cousin, it is good to grow.
Grandam, one night as we did sit at supper, my uncle Rivers talked how I did grow more than my brother. Aye, quoth my uncle Gloucester, small herbs have grace, great weed do grow apace. And since, methinks I would not grow so fast, because sweet flowers are slow and weeds make haste.
Good faith, the saying did not hold in him that did object the same to thee. He was the wretchedest thing when he was young, so long a-growing and so leisurely, that if his rule were true, he should be gracious.
And so no doubt he is, my gracious madam.
I hope he is, but yet let mothers doubt.
Now, by my troth, if I had been remembered, I could have given my uncle's grace a flumpt to touch his growth nearer than he touched mine.
How, my young York? I prithee, let me hear it.
Marry, they say my uncle grew so fast that he could gnaw a crustic 2 hours old. 'Twas full 2 years ere I could get a tooth. Grandam, this would have been a biking jest.
A pretty York, who told you this?
Grandam his nurse.
His nurse? Why, she was dead ere thou wast born.
If 'twere not she, I cannot tell who told me.
A parlous boy. Go to, you are too shrewd.
Good madam, be not angry with the child.
Pitchers have ears.
Here comes a messenger. What news?
Such news, my lord, as grieves me to report.
How doth the prince?
Well, madam, and in health.
What is thy news?
Lord Rivers and Lord Grey are sent to Pomfret, and with them Sir Thomas Vaughan. Prisoners.
Who hath committed them?
The mighty dukes, Gloucester and Buckingham.
For what offence?
The sum of all I can I have disclosed. Why or for what the nobles were committed is all unknown to me, my gracious lord.
By me, I see the ruin of my house. The tiger now hath seized the gentle hind. Insulting tyranny begins to jack upon the innocent, and all is thrown. Welcomed destruction, blood, and massacre. I see as in a map the end of all.
Accursed and unquiet random days, how many of you have mine eyes beheld? My husband lost his life to get the crown, and often up and down my sons were tossed, for me to joy and weep their gains and loss. And being seated, and domestic broils keen overblown, themselves the conquerors make war upon themselves. Brother to brother, blood to blood, self against self. O preposterous and frantic outrage, end thy bandit spleen, or let me die to look on earth no more.
Queen Elizabeth to her son.
Come, come, my boy, we will to sanctuary. Madam, farewell.
Stay, I will go with you.
You have no cause.
Archbishop to Queen Elizabeth.
My gracious lady, go, and thither bear your treasure and your goods. For my part, I'll resign unto your grace the seal I keep, and so betire to me as well I hinder you and all of yours. Go, I'll conduct you to the sanctuary.
Act 3, Scene 1. Enter Richard, Buckingham, Prince Edward, Duke of Wales, the Archbishop of York, and Catesby.
Welcome, sweet prince, to London, to your chamber.
Welcome, dear cousin, my thoughts sovereign. The weary way hath made you melancholy.
No, uncle, but all crosses on the way have made it tedious, wearisome, and heavy. I want more uncles here to welcome me.
Sweet prince, the untainted virtue of your years hath not yet dived into the world's deceit, nor more can you distinguish of a man than of his outward show, which, God he knows, seldom or never jumpeth with the heart. Those uncles which you want were dangerous. Your grace attended to their sugared words, but looked not on the poison of their hearts. God keep you from them, and from such false friends.
God keep me from false friends, but they were none.
God bless your grace with health and happy days.
I thank you, good my lord, and thank you all. I thought my mother and my brother York would long ere this had met us on the way. For what a sluggish Hastings that he comes not to tell us whether they will come or not.
And in good time, here comes the sweating lord.
Enter Hastings.
Welcome, my lord. What, will our mother come?
On what occasion, God he knows, not I, the queen your mother and your brother York have taken sanctuary. The tender prince would fain have come with me to meet your grace, but by his mother was perforce withheld.
Fie, what an indirect and peevish course is this of hers. Archbishop, will your grace persuade the queen to send the Duke of York unto his princely brother presently? If she deny, Lord Hastings go with him, and from her jealous arms pluck him perforce.
My Lord of Buckingham, if my weak oratory can from his mother win the Duke of York, anon expect in here. But if she be obdurate to mild entreaties, God in heaven forbid we should infringe the holy privilege of blessed sanctuary. Not for all this land would I be guilty of so deep a sin.
You are too senseless obstinate, my lord, too ceremonious and traditional. Weigh it but with the grossness of this age. You break not sanctuary in seizing him. The benefit thereof is always granted to those whose dealings have deserved the place, and those who have the wit to claim the place. This prince hath neither claimed it nor deserved it, and therefore, in my opinion, cannot have it. Then taking him from thence that is not there, you break no privilege nor charter there. Oft have I heard of sanctuary men, but sanctuary children ne'er till now.
My lord, you shall o'errule my mind for once. Come on, Lord Hastings, will you go with me?
I go, my lord.
Good lord, make all speedy haste you may.
Exit the Archbishop and Hastings.
Say, Uncle Gloucester, if our brother come, where shall we sojourn till our coronation?
Where it seems best unto your royal self. If I may counsel you, some day or two your highness shall repose you to the Tower, then where you please, and shall be thought most fit for your best health and recreation.
I do not like the Tower of any place. Did Julius Caesar build that place, my lord?
He did, my gracious lord, begin that place, which since succeeding ages have re-edified.
Is it upon record, or else reported successively from age to age he built it?
Upon record, my gracious lord.
But say, my lord, it were not registered, methinks the truth should live from age to age, as 'twere retailed to all posterity, even to the general all-ending day.
So wise, so young, they say do never live long.
What say you, uncle?
I say without characters fame lives long. Thus like the formal vice, iniquity, I moralize two meanings in one word.
That Julius Caesar was a famous man, with what his valor did enrich his wit set down to make his valor live. Death makes no conquest of this conqueror, for now he lives in fame. I'll tell you what, my cousin Buckingham.
What, my gracious lord?
And if I live until I be a man, I'll win our ancient right in France again, or die a soldier as I lived the king.
Short summers likely have a forward spring.
Now in good time, here comes the Duke of York.
Enter the Duke of York, Hastings, and the Archbishop.
Richard of York, how fares our loving brother?
Well, my dread lord, so must I call you now?
Ay, rather to our grief as it is yours. Too late he died that might have kept that title, which by his death hath lost much majesty.
How fares our cousin, noble lord of York?
I thank you, gentle uncle. Oh, my lord, you said that idle weeds are fast in growth. The prince my brother hath outgrown me far.
He hath, my lord.
And therefore is he idle?
Oh, my fair cousin, I must not say so.
Then is he more beholding to you than I.
He may command me as my sovereign, but you have power in me as in a kinsman.
I pray you, uncle, give me this dagger.
My dagger, little cousin? With all my heart.
A beggar, brother?
Of my kind uncle, that I know will give, and being but a toy, which is no grief to give.
A greater gift than that I'll give you, my cousin.
A greater gift? Oh, that's the sword to it.
Aye, gentle cousin, were it light enough.
Oh, then I see. You will part but with light gifts. In weightier things you'll say a beggar nay.
It is too heavy for your grace to wear.
I weigh it lightly, were it heavier.
What would you have my weapon, little lord?
I would that I might thank you as you call me.
How?
Little.
My lord of York will still be cross in talk. Uncle, your grace knows how to bear with him.
You mean to bear me, not to bear with me. Uncle, my brother mocks both you and me, because that I am little like an ape. He thinks that you should bear me on your shoulders.
With what a sharp provided wit he reasons. To mitigate the scorn he gives his uncle, he prettily and aptly taunts himself. So cunning and so young is wonderful.
My lord, will't please you pass along? Myself and my good cousin Buckingham will to your mother to entreat of her to meet you at the Tower and welcome you.
What, will you go unto the Tower, my lord?
My lord protector needs will have it so.
I shall not sleep in quiet at the tower.
Why, what should you fear?
Mary, my Uncle Clarence, angry ghost. My grandam told me he was murdered there.
I fear no uncles dead.
Nor none that live, I hope.
And if they live, I hope I need not fear. But come, my lord, with a heavy heart thinking on them, go I unto the tower.
Exit all but Richard, Buckingham, and Catesby.
Think you, my lord, this little prating York was not incensed by his subtle mother to taunt and scorn you thus opprobriously?
No doubt, no doubt. Oh, 'tis a parlous boy, bold, quick, ingenious, forward, capable. He is all the mother's from top to toe.
Well, let them rest. Come hither, Catesby. Thou art sworn as deeply to affect what we intend as closely to conceal what we impart. Thou knowest our reasons. Urged upon the way, what thinkest thou? Is it not an easy matter to make William Lord Hastings of our mind for the instalment of this noble duke in the seat royal of this famous isle?
He, for his father's sake, so loves the prince that he will not be won to aught against him.
What thinkest thou then of Stanley? Will not he?
He will do all and all that's Hastings stuff.
Well then, no more but this. Go, gentle Catesby, and, as it were far off, sound thou Lord Hastings how he doth stand affected to our purpose, and summon him tomorrow to the Tower to sit about the coronation. If thou dost find him tractable to us, encourage him, and show him all our reasons. If he be leaden, icy, cold, unwilling, be thou so too, and so break off the talk, and give us notice of his inclination, for we tomorrow hold divided councils, wherein thyself shalt highly be employed.
Commend me to Lord William. Tell him, Catesby, his ancient knot of dangerous adversaries tomorrow are let blood at Pomfret Castle. And bid my lord, for joy of this good news, give Mistress Shore one gentle kiss more.
Good Catesby, go effect this business soundly.
My good lords both, with all the heed I can.
Shall we hear from you, Catesby, ere we sleep?
You shall, my lord.
At Crosby Palace there shall you find us both.
Exit Catesby.
Now, my lord, what shall we do if we perceive Lord Hastings will not yield to our complot?
Chop off his head? Something we will determine. And look, when I am king, claim thou from me the earldom of Hereford, and all the movables whereof the king my brother was possessed.
I'll claim that promise at your grace's hand.
And look to have it yielded with all kindness. Come, let us sup betimes, that afterwards we may digest our complot in some form.
Act 3, Scene 2. Enter Catesby and Hastings.
Many good morrows to my noble lord.
Good morrow, Catesby. You are early stirring.
What news?
What news in this our tottering state?
It is a reeling world indeed, my lord, and I believe will never stand upright till Richard wear the garland of the realm.
How wear the garland? Dost thou mean the crown?
Ay, my good lord.
I'll have this crown of mine cut from my shoulders before I'll see the crown so foul misplaced. But canst thou guess that he doth aim at it?
Ay, on my life, and hopes to find you forward upon his party for the gain thereof. And thereupon he sends you this good news, that this same very day your enemies, the kindred of the queen, must die at Pomfret.
Indeed, I am no mourner for that news, because they have been still my adversaries. But that I'll give my voice on Richard's side to bar my master's heirs in true descent. God knows I will not do it, to the death.
God keep your lordship in that gracious mind.
But I shall laugh at this a 12-month hence, that they which brought me in my master's hate, I live to look upon their tragedy. Well, Catesby, ere a fortnight make me older, I'll send some packing that yet think not on't.
'Tis a vile thing to die, my gracious lord, when men are unprepared and look not for it.
Oh, monstrous, monstrous! And so falls it out with Rivers, Vaughan, Grey, and so 'twill do with some men else that think themselves as safe as thou and I, who, as thou knowest, are dear to princely Richard and to Buckingham.
The princes both make high account of you, for they account his head upon the bridge.
I know they do, and I have well deserved it.
Enter Stanley.
Come on, where is your boar spear man? Fear you the boar, and go so unprovided?
My lord, good morning. Good morning, Catesby. You may jest on, but by holy rood, I do not like these several counsels,
My lord, I hold my life as dear as you do yours, and never in my days, I do protest, was it so precious to me as 'tis now. Think you but that I know our state secure, I would be so triumphant as I am?
The lords at Pomfret, when they rode from London, were jocund and supposed their states were sure, and they indeed had no cause to mistrust. But yet you see how soon the day o'ercast. This sudden stab of rancor I misdoubt. Pray God, I say, I prove a needless coward. What, shall we toward the tower? The day is spent.
Come, have with you. What you what, my lord? Today the lords you talked of are beheaded.
They for their truth might better wear their heads than some that have accused them wear their hats. But come, my lord, let's away.
Enter priest.
Well met, my lord. I am glad to see your honour.
I thank thee, good Sir John, with all my heart. I am in your debt for your last exercise. Come the next Sabbath, and I will content you.
I'll wait upon your lordship.
Hastings whispers in the priest's ear. The priest exits. Enter Buckingham.
What, talking with the priest, Lord Chamberlain? Your friends at Pomfret, they do need the priest. Your honour hath no shriving work in hand.
Good faith, and when I met this holy man, the men you talk of came into my mind. What, go you toward the tower?
I do, my lord, but long I shall not stay there. I shall return before your lordship thence.
Nay, like enough, for I stay dinner there.
And supper too, although thou knowest it not. Come, will you go?
I will wait upon your lordship.
Act 3, Scene 3. At Pomfret. Rivers, Grey, and Vaughan are being led, under guard, to their execution. Ratcliffe acts as witness and supervisor.
Sir Richard Ratcliffe, let me tell thee this. Today shalt thou behold a subject die for truth, for duty, and for loyalty.
God bless the prince from all the pack of you. A nut you are of damned bloodsuckers.
You live that shall cry woe for this hereafter.
Dispatch, the limit of your lives is out.
O Pomfret, Pomfret, O thou bloody prison, fatal and ominous to noble peers! Within the guilty closure of thy walls, Richard II here was hacked to death, and for more slander to thy dismal seat, we give up our guiltless blood to drink.
Now Margaret's curse has fallen upon our heads, when she exclaimed on Hastings, you and I, for standing by when Richard stabbed her son.
Then cursed she Richard, then cursed she Buckingham, then cursed she Hastings. Oh, remember God to hear her prayer for them as now for us, and for my sister and her princely sons. Be satisfied, dear God, with our true blood, which, as thou knowest, unjustly must be spilt.
Make haste, the hour of death is expiate.
Come, Grey, come, Bon, let us all embrace.
They embrace.
Farewell until we meet in heaven.
Act 3, Scene 4. Enter Buckingham, Stanley, Hastings, and Ratcliffe.
Now, noble peers, the cause why we are met is to determine of the coronation. In God's name speak, when is the royal day?
Is all things ready for the royal time?
It is, and wants but nomination. Who knows the Lord Protector's mind herein? Who is most inward with the noble Duke?
We know each other's faces, for our hearts. He knows no more of mine than I of yours, or I of his, my lord, than you of mine. Lord Hastings, you and he are near in love.
I thank his grace. I know he loves me well. But for his purpose in the coronation I have not sounded him, nor he delivered his gracious pleasure in any way therein. But you, my honourable lords, may name the time, and in the Duke's behalf I'll give my voice, which I presume he'll take in gentle part.
In happy time, here comes the Duke himself.
My noble lords and cousins all, good morrow. I have been long a sleeper, but I trust my absence doth neglect no great design, which by my presence might have been concluded.
Had you not come upon your cue, my lord, William Lord Hastings had pronounced your part, I mean your voice, for crowning of the king.
Then my Lord Hastings, no man might be bolder. His lordship knows me well and loves me well. Cousin Buckingham, a word with you?
Richard and Buckingham moved to the side to speak in private.
Catesby hath sounded Hastings in our business, and finds the testy gentleman so hot as he will lose his head ere give consent his master's child, as worshipfully he terms it, shall lose the royalty of England's throne.
Withdraw yourself a while, I'll go with you.
Richard and Buckingham exit.
We have not yet set down this day of triumph. Tomorrow, in my judgment, is too sudden, for I myself am not so well provided as else I would be were the day prolonged.
His grace looks cheerfully and smooth this morning. There's some conceit or other likes him well, when that he bids good morrow with such spirit. I think there's never a man in Christendom can lesser hive his love or hate than he, for by his face straight shall you know his heart.
What of his heart perceive you in his face, by any livelihood he showed today?
Marry, that with no man here he is offended, for were he had shown it in his looks.
I pray God he be not, I say.
Enter Richard and Buckingham.
I pray you all, tell me what they deserve that do conspire my death with devilish plots of damned witchcraft, and that have prevailed upon my body with their hellish charms.
The tender love I bear your grace, my lord, makes me most forward in this princely presence to doom the offenders, whosoever they be. I say, my lord, they have deserved death.
Then be your eyes the witness of their evil.
Richard exposes his arm.
Look how I am bewitched. Behold, mine arm is like a blasted sapling withered up. And this is Edward's wife, that monstrous witch, consorted with that harlot strumpet Shore, that by their witchcraft thus have marked me.
If they have done this deed, my noble lord—
If? Thou protector of this damned strumpet? Talkest thou to me of ifs? Thou art a traitor. Off with his head. Now by St. Paul I swear I will not dine until I see the same. Ratcliffe, look that it be done. The rest that love me, rise and follow me.
Exit all but Hastings and Ratcliffe.
Woe, woe for England! Not a whit for me, for I too fond might have prevented this. Stanley did dream the boar did raise his helm, and I did scorn it and disdain to fly. 3 times today my footcloth horse did stumble and startled when he looked upon the tower, as loath to bear me to the slaughter-house. O now I need the priest that spake to me. I now repent, triumphing how mine enemies today at Pomfret bloodily were butchered, and I myself secure in grace and favour. O Margaret, Margaret, now thy heavy curse is lighted on poor Hastings' wretched head.
Come, dispatch. The Duke would be at dinner. Make a short shrift. He longs to see your head.
O momentary grace of mortal men, what's we more hunt for than the grace of God? Who builds his hopes in air of your good looks lives like a drunken sailor on a mast, ready with every nod to tumble down into the fatal bowels of the deep. O bloody Richard! Miserable England, I prophesy the fearfullest time to thee that ever wretched age hath looked upon. Come, lead me to the block, bear him my head. They smile at me that shortly shall be dead.
Act 3, Scene 5. Enter Buckingham, Richard, and the Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor, God and our innocents defend and guard us.
Enter Ratcliffe, carrying a basket containing Hastings' head.
Here is our friend Ratcliffe.
Here is the head of that ignoble traitor, the dangerous and unsuspected Hastings.
So dear I loved the man that I must weep. I took him for the plainest, harmless creature that breathed upon the earth a Christian. made him my book wherein my soul recorded the history of all her secret thoughts. So smooth he daubed his vice with show of virtue, that his apparent open guilt omitted. I mean his conversation with Shore's wife. He lives from all attainder of suspects.
Well, well, he was the covetous, sheltered traitor that ever lived.
To the mayor.
Would you imagine, or almost believe, would not that by great supervision we live to tell it, that suitable traitor this day had plotted in the council house to murder me and my good lord of Gloucester?
Had he done so?
What, think you we are Turks, or infidels, or that we would, against the form of law, proceed thus rashly in the villain's death, but that the extreme peril of the case, the peace of England, and our person's safety, it forced us to this execution?
Now fair befall you. He deserved his death, and your good graces both have well proceeded to warn false traitors from the like attempts.
I never looked for better at his hands, after he once fell in with Mistress Shore. Yet had we not determined he should die until your lordship came to see his end, which now the loving haste of these our friends, something against our meaning, have prevented. Because, my lord, I would have had you heard the traitor speak, and timorously confess the manner and the purpose of his treasons, that you might well have signified the same unto the citizens, who haply may misconstrue us in him, and wail his death.
But, my good lord, your grace's words shall serve as well as I had seen and heard him speak. And do not doubt, right noble princes both, but I'll acquaint our duteous citizens with all your just proceedings in this case.
And to that end we wished your lordship here, to avoid the censures of the carping world.
Which since you come too late of our intent, yet witness what you hear we did intend. And so, my good Lord Mayor, we bid farewell.
Exit the Lord Mayor.
Go after cousin Buckingham. The mayor towards Guildhall hies him in all post. There at your meetest vantage of the time, infer the bastardy of Edward's children. Tell them how Edward put to death a citizen only for saying he would make his son heir to the crown, meaning indeed his house, which by the sign thereof was termed so. Moreover urge his hateful luxury, and bestial appetite in change of lust, which stretched unto their servants, daughters, wives, even where his raging eye or savage heart without control lusted to make a prey. Nay, for a need thus far come near my person, tell them when that my mother went with child of that insatiate Edward, noble York, my princely father, then had wars in France, and by true computation of the time found that the issue was not his begat, which well appeared in his lineament, being nothing like the noble Duke my father. Yet touch this sparingly as to a far off, because, my lord, you know my mother lives.
Doubt not, my lord, I'll play the orator as if the golden fee for which I plead were for myself. And so, my lord, adieu.
If you thrive well, bring them to Baynard Castle, where you shall find me well accompanied with reverend fathers and well-learned bishops.
I go, and towards 3 or 4 o'clock look for the news that the Guildhall affords.
Exit Buckingham.
Go, Ratcliffe, with all speed to Dr. Shaw. Then go thou to Friar Penker. Bid them both meet me within this hour at Baynard's Castle.
Exit Ratcliffe.
Now will I go to give order that no manner person have any time recourse unto the princes.
Act 3, Scene 6, Baynard's Castle. Enter Richard and Buckingham.
How now? What say the citizens?
Now by the Holy Mother of our Lord, the citizens are mum. Say not a word.
Touched you the bastardy of Edward's children?
I did, with his contract with Lady Lucy and his contract by get-duty in France, the unsatiate greediness of his desire, and his enforcement of the city wives. His tyranny for trifles, his own bastardy, as being that your father then in France, and his resemblance being not like the Duke. Withal I did infer your lineaments, being the right idea of your father, both in your form and nobleness of mind. Laid open all your victories in Scotland, your discipline in war, wisdom in peace, your bounty, virtue, fair humility. Indeed left nothing fitting for your purpose untouched or slightly handled in discourse. And when mine oratory grew toward end, I bid them that did love their country's good cry, God save Richard, England's royal king.
And did they so?
No, so God help me. They spake not a word, but like dumb statues or breathing stones, stared each on other and looked deadly pale. Which when I saw, I reprehended them, and asked the mayor what meant this wilful silence. His answer was, the people were not used to being spoke to but by the recorder. Then he was urged to tell my tale again. Thus saith the Duke, thus hath the Duke inferred, but nothing spoke in warrant from himself. When he was done, some followers of mine own, at the lower end of the hall, hurled up their caps, and some 10 voices cried, God save King Richard, and thus I took advantage of those few. Thanks, gentle citizens and friends, quoth I. This general applause and cheerful shout argues your wisdoms and your love to Richard. And even here brake off and came away.
What tongueless blots were they? Would they not speak? Will not the mayor then and his brethren come?
The mayor is here at hand. Intend some fear, be not you spoke with but by mighty suit. And look you get a prayer book in your hand, and stand between 2 churchmen, good my lord, for on that ground I'll make a holy descant. And be not easily won to our requests. Play the maid's part, still answer nay, and take it.
I go, and if you plead as well for them as I can say nay to thee for myself, no doubt we bring it to a happy issue.
There's knocking at the door.
Go, go, up to the liege, the Lord Mayor knocks.
Exit Richard. Enter the Lord Mayor and citizens.
Welcome, my lord. I dance attendance here. I think the Duke will not be spoke withal.
Enter Catesby.
Now, Catesby, what says your lord to my request?
He doth entreat your grace, my noble lord, to visit him tomorrow or next day. He is within with 2 right reverend fathers, divinely bent to meditation, and in no worldly suits would he be moved to draw him from his holy exercise.
Return, good Catesby, to the gracious Duke. Tell him myself, the mayor, and aldermen, no less importing than our general good, in deep designed and matters of great moment, are come to have some conference with his grace.
I'll signify so much unto him straight.
Exit Catesby.
Ah, my lord, this prince is not an Edward. He is not lolling on a lewd love-bed, but on his knees at meditation, not dallying with a brace of courtesans, but meditating with 2 deep divines, not sleeping to engross his idle body, but praying to enrich his watchful soul. Happy were England would this virtuous prince take on his grace the sovereignty thereof. But sure I fear we shall not win him to it.
Mary, God defend his grace, should say us nay.
I fear he will.
Enter Richard above, standing between 2 bishops.
See where his grace stands, 'tween 2 clergymen.
2 props of virtue for a Christian prince, to stay him from the fall of vanity. And see a book of prayer in his hand, true ornaments to know a holy man. Famous Plantagenet, most gracious prince, lend favourable ears to our requests, and pardon us the interruption of thy devotion and right Christian zeal.
My lord, there needs no such apology. I do beseech your grace pardon me, who, earnest in the service of my God, deferred the visitation of my friends. But leaving this, what is your grace's pleasure?
Even that I hope which pleaseth God above, and all good men of this ungoverned isle.
I do suspect I have done some offence that seems disgracious in the city's eye, and that you come to reprehend my ignorance.
You have, my lord. Would it might please your grace, on our entreaties, to amend your fault.
Else wherefore breathe I in a Christian land?
Know then it is your fault that you resign the supreme seat, the throne majestical, the sceptred office of your ancestors, your state of fortune, and your due of birth, the lineal glory of your royal house, to the corruption of a blemished stock, whiles in the mildness of your sleepy thoughts, which here we waken to our country's good. The noble isle doth want her proper limbs, her face defaced with scars of infamy, her royal stock graft with ignoble plants, and almost shouldered in the swallowing gulf of dark forgetfulness and deep oblivion, which to recure we heartily solicit your gracious self to take on you the charge and kingly government of this your land, not as protector, steward, substitute, or lowly factor for another's gain, but as successfully from blood to blood your right of birth, your empery, your own. For this, consorted with the citizens, your very worshipful and loving friends, and by their vehement instigation in this just suit come I to move your grace.
I cannot tell if to depart in silence, or bitterly to speak in your reproof, best fitteth my degree or your condition. If not to answer, you might haply think tongue-tied ambition, not replying, yielded to bear the golden yoke of sovereignty which fondly you would here impose on me. If to reprove you for this suit of yours, so seasoned with your faithful love to me, then on the other side I checked my friends. Therefore, to speak and to avoid the first, and then in speaking not to incur the last, definitively thus I answer you. Your love deserves my thanks, but my desert unmerited shuns your high request. First, if all obstacles were cut away, and that my path were even to the crown, as the right revenue and due of birth, yet so much is my poverty of spirit, so mighty and so many my defects, that I would rather hide me from my greatness, being a bark to brook no mighty sea, than in my greatness covet to be hid, and in the vapour of my glory smothered. But God be thanked, there is no need of me, and much I need to help you were there need. The royal tree hath left us royal fruit, which mellowed by the stealing hours of time will well become the seat of majesty, and make, no doubt, us happy by his reign. On him I lay which you would lay on me, the right and fortune of his happy stars, which God defend that I should wring from him.
My lord, this argues conscience in your grace, but the respects thereof are nice and trivial, all circumstances well considered. You say that Edward is your brother's son, so say we too, but not by Edward's wife. For first was he contract to Lady Lucy, your mother lives a witness to that vow, and afterward by substitute betrothed to Bona, sister to the King of France. These both put off, a poor petitioner, a care-crazed mother to many sons, a beauty waning and distressed widow, even in the afternoon of her best days, made prize and purchase of his wanton eye, seduced the pitch and height of his degree to base declension and loathed bigamy. By her in this unlawful bed he guff this Edward, whom our manners term the prince. More bitterly could I expostulate, save that for reverence to some alive I give a sparing limit to my tongue. Then, good my lord, take to your royal self this proffered benefit of dignity, if not to bless us in the land withal, yet to draw forth your noble ancestry from the corruption of abusing times unto a lineal, true derived course.
Do, good my lord, your citizens entreat you.
Refuse not, mighty lord, this proffered love.
Oh, make them joyful, grant their lawful suit.
Alas, why would you heap this care on me? I am unfit for state and majesty. I do beseech you, take it not amiss. I cannot, nor I will not, yield to you.
If you refuse it, as in love and zeal, loath to dispose the child, your brother's son, as well we know your tenderness of heart, and gentle, kind, effeminate remorse, which we have noted in you to your kindred, and equally indeed to all estates. Yet know, Where you accept our suit or no, your brother's son shall never reign our king, but we will plant some other in the throne, to the disgrace and downfall of your house. And in this resolution here we leave you. Come, citizens, zounds, I'll entreat no more.
Oh, do not swear, my lord of Buckingham.
Exit Buckingham, the mayor, and all citizens.
Call them again, sweet prince, accept their suit. If you deny them, all the land will rue it.
Will you enforce me to a world of cares? Call them again. I am not made of stones, but penetrable to your kind entreaties, albeit against my conscience and my soul.
Buckingham, the mayor, and the citizens return.
Cousin of Buckingham and sage, grave men, since you will buckle fortune on my back, to bear her burden where I will or no, I must have patience to endure the load. But if black scandal or foul-faced reproach attend the sequel of your imposition, your mere enforcement shall acquittance me from all the impure blots and stains thereof. For God doth know, and you may partly see, how far I am from the desire of this.
God bless your grace. We see it and will say it.
In saying so, you shall but say the truth.
Then I salute you with this royal title. Long live Richard, England's worthy king.
Amen.
Tomorrow will it please you to be crowned?
Even when you please, since you will have it so.
Tomorrow, then, we will attend your grace. And so, most joyfully, we take our leave.
Farewell, my cousin. Farewell, gentle friends.
Act 4, Scene 1. Outside London Tower. Enter from one door Anne, Duchess of Gloucester, formerly Lady Anne, and from another door Queen Elizabeth, the Duchess of York, and Lord Dorset.
God give your graces both a happy and a joyful time of day.
As much to you, good sister. Whither away?
No farther than the Tower, and, as I guess, upon the like devotion as yourselves, to gratulate the gentle princes there.
Kind sister, thanks. We'll enter all together.
Enter Brackenbury.
And in good time, here the lieutenant comes. Master Lieutenant, pray you by your leave, how doth the prince and my young son of York?
Right well, dear madam. By your patience, I may not suffer you to visit them. The king hath strictly charged the contrary.
The king? Who's that?
I mean the Lord Protector.
The Lord protect him from that kingly title. Have he set bounds between their love and me? I am their mother. Who shall bar me from them?
I am their father's mother. I will see them.
Their aunt I am in law, in love their mother. Then bring me to their sights. I'll bear thy blame and take thy office from thee on my peril.
No, madam, no. I may not leave it so. I am bound by oath, and ever pardon me.
Exit Brackenbury. Enter Stanley.
Let me but meet you, ladies, 1 hour hence, and I'll salute your grace of York as mother and revered looker-on of 2 fair queens.
To Anne.
Come, madam, you must straight to Westminster, there to be crowned Richard's royal queen.
Cut my legs asunder that my pent heart may have some scope to beat, or else I'll swoon with this dead-killing news.
Despiteful tidings. Oh, unpleasant news.
Be of good cheer, mother. How fares her grace?
O Dorset, speak not to me. Get thee gone. Death and destruction dogs thee at thy heels. Thy mother's name is ominous to children. If thou wilt outstrip death, go, cross the seas, and live with Richmond from the reach of hell. Go, hie thee from this slaughterhouse, lest thou increase the number of the dead, and make me die the thrall of Margaret's curse, nor mother, wife, or England's counted queen.
Full of wise care is your counsel, madam.
To Dorset.
Take all the swift advantage of the hours. You shall have letters from me to my son in your behalf, to meet you on the way. Be not ta'en tardy by unwise delay.
O ill-dispersing wind of misery, O my accursed womb, the bed of death, a cockatrice hast thou hatched to the world, whose unavoided eye is murderous.
Come, madam, come. I in all haste were sent.
And I in all unwillingness will go. Oh, would to God that the inclusive verge of gold and metal that must round my brow were red-hot steel to sear me to the brains. Anointed let me be with deadly venom, and by ere men can save, God save the Queen.
Go, go, poor soul, I envy not thy glory. To feed my humour, wish thyself no harm.
No? Why, when he that is my husband now came to me, as I followed Henry's course, when scarce the blood was washed from his hands which issued from my other angel husband, and that dear saint which then I weeping followed. Oh, when I say I look on Richard's face, this was my wish. Be thou, quoth I, accursed for making me so young and so old a widow, and when thou weddest, let sorrow haunt thy bed, and be thy wife, if any be so mad, more miserable by the life of thee than thou hast made me by my dear Lord's death. Lo, ere I can repeat this curse again within so small a time, my woman's heart grossly grew captive to his honey words, and proved the subject of mine own soul's curse, which hitherto hath held my eyes from rest. For never yet 1 hour in his bed did I enjoyed the golden dew of sleep, but with his timorous dreams was still awaked. Besides, he hates me for my father Warwick, and will, no doubt, shortly be rid of me.
Poor heart, adieu. I pity thy complaining.
No more than for my soul I mourn for yours.
Farewell, thou woeful welcomer of glory.
Adieu, poor soul that takest thy leave of it.
The Duchess to Dorset.
Go thou to Richmond, and good fortune guide thee.
To Anne.
Go thou to Richard, and good angels tend thee.
To Queen Elizabeth.
Go thou to sanctuary, and good thoughts possess thee. I to my grave, where peace and rest lie with me. 80 odd years of sorrow have I seen, and each hour's joy racked with a week of teen.
Stay, yet look back with me unto the tower. Pity, you ancient stones, those tender babes, whom envy hath immured within your walls. Rough cradle for such little pretty ones, rude ragged nurse, old sullen playfellow for tender princes. Use my babies well. So foolish sorrows bid your stones farewell.
Act 4, Scene 2. Enter Richard along with his young attendant, Buckingham, Catesby, and Ratcliffe.
Cousin of Buckingham,
My gracious sovereign.
give me thy hand. Thus high by thy advice and thy assistance is King Richard, seek it. But shall we wear these glories for a day, or shall they last, and we rejoice in them?
Still live they, and forever let them last.
Ah, Buckingham, now do I play the touch, to try if thou be current gold indeed. Young Edward lives. Think now what I would speak.
Say on, my loving lord.
Why, Buckingham, I say I would be king.
Why, so you are, my thrice renowned lord.
Ah, am I king? 'Tis so, but Edward lives.
True, noble prince.
Oh, bitter consequence that Edward still should live, true, noble prince. Cousin, thou wast not wont to be so dull. Shall I be plain? I wish the bastards dead, and I would have it suddenly performed. What sayest thou now? Speak suddenly, be brief.
Your grace may do your pleasure.
Tut, tut, thou art all ice. Thy kindness freezes. Say, have I thy consent that they shall die?
Give me some little breath, some pause, dear lord, before I positively speak in this. I will resolve you herein presently.
Exit Buckingham.
I converse with iron-witted fools and unrespected boys. None are for me that look into me with considerate eyes. High-reaching Buckingham grows circumspect. Boy?
The attendant steps forward.
My lord.
Knowest thou not any whom corrupting gold will tempt unto a close exploit of death?
I know a discontented gentleman whose humble means match not his haughty spirit, gold were as good as 20 orators, and will, no doubt, tempt him to anything.
What is his name?
His name, my lord, is Tyrell.
I partly know the man. Go, call him hither, boy.
Exit the attendant.
The deep revolving, witty Buckingham no more shall be the neighbour to my counsels. Hath he so long held out with me untired, and stops he now for breath? Well, be it so.
Enter Stanley.
How now, Lord Stanley, what's the news?
No, my loving lord, the Marquis Dorset, as I hear, is fled to Richmond, in the parts where he abides.
Come hither, Catesby. Rumour it abroad that Anne, my wife, is very grievous sick. I will take order for her keeping close. Look how thou dreamest. I say again, give out that Anne, my queen, is sick and like to die.
Exit Catesby.
I must be married to my brother's daughter, or else my kingdom stands on brittle glass. Murder her brothers, and then marry her. Uncertain way of gain, but I am in so far in blood that sin will pluck on sin. Tearful in pity dwells not in this eye.
Enter the attendant and Tyrell.
Is thy name Tyrell?
James Tyrell, and her most obedient subject.
Art thou indeed?
Prove me, my gracious lord.
Darest thou resolve to kill a friend of mine?
Please you, but I had rather kill 2 enemies.
Why then thou hast it, 2 deep enemies, foes to my rest, and my sweet sleep's disturbers are they that I would have thee deal upon. Tyrell, I mean those bastards in the Tower.
Let me have open means to come to them, and soon I'll rid you from the fear of them.
Thou singest sweet music. Hark, come hither, Tyrell.
Tyrell approaches and kneels before Richard.
Go buy this token. Rise and lend thine ear.
Tyrell stands. Richard whispers in his ear. Once he is done.
There is no more but so. Say it is done, and I will love thee and prefer thee for it.
I will dispatch it straight.
Tyrell exits. Enter Buckingham.
My lord, I have considered in my mind the late request that you did sound me in.
Well, let that rest. Dorset has fled to Richmond.
I hear the news, my lord.
Stanley, he is your wife's son. Well, look unto it.
My lord, I claim the gift, my due by promise, for which your honour and your faith is pawned. The earldom of Hereford and the movables which you have promised I shall possess.
Stanley, look to your wife. If she convey letters to Richmond, you shall answer it.
What says your highness to my just request?
I do remember me. Henry the Sixth did prophesy that Richmond should be king, when Richmond was a little peevish boy. A king, perhaps.
My lord.
How chanced the prophet could not at that time have told me, I being by, that I should kill him?
My lord, your promise for the earldom.
Richmond. When last I was at Exeter, the mayor in courtesy showed me the castle and called it Rougemont, at which name I started, because a bard of Ireland told me once I should not live long after I saw Richmond.
My lord.
Aye, what's o'clock?
I am thus bold to put your grace in mind of what you promised me.
Well, but what's o'clock?
Upon the stroke of 10.
Well, let it strike.
Why let it strike?
Because that, like a jack, thou keepest the stroke betwixt thy begging and my meditation. I am not in the giving vein today.
Why then, resolve me whether you will or no.
Thou troublest me. I am not in the vein.
Exit all but Buckingham.
And is this thus? Repays he my deep service with such contempt? Made I him king for this? Oh, let me think on Hastings, and be gone to Brecknock, while my fearful head is on.
Act 4, Scene 3. Tyrell has accomplished his mission.
The tyrannous and bloody act is done. the most arch deed of piteous massacre that ever yet this land was guilty of. Dighton and Forrest, whom I get suborned to do this piece of ruthless butchery, albeit they were fleshed villains, bloody dogs, melted with tenderness and mild compassion, wept like two children in their death's sad story. Oh, thus, quoth Dighton, lay those gentle babes. Thus, quoth Forrest, girdling one another within their alabaster innocent arms. Their lips were 4 red roses on a stalk, and in their summer beauty kissed each other. A book of prayers on their pillow lay, which once, quoth Forrest, almost changed my mind. But oh, the devil! There the villain stopped, when Dighton thus told on. We smothered the most replenishing sweet work of nature that from the prime creation or she framed. Hence both are gone with conscience and remorse. They could not speak. And so I left them both to bear this tidings to the bloody king. And here he comes. All health, my sovereign lord.
Kind Tyrrell, am I happy in thy news?
If 2 have done the thing you gave in charge beget your happiness, be happy then, for it is done.
But didst thou see them dead?
I did, my lord.
And buried, gentle Tyrrell?
The chaplain of the tower hath buried them, but where, to say the truth, I do not know.
Come to me, Tyrrell, soon as after supper, when thou shalt tell the process of their death. Meantime, but think how I may do thee good, and be inheritor of thy desire. Farewell till then.
I humbly take my leave.
Exit Tyrrell.
The sons of Edward sleep in Abraham's bosom, and Anne, my wife, hath bid this world good night. Now, for I know the Breton Richmond aims at yen Elizabeth, my brother's daughter, and by that knot looks proudly on the crown, to her go I, a jolly, thriving wooer.
Enter Ratcliffe.
My lord.
Good or bad news that thou comest in so bluntly?
Bad news, my lord. Morton is fled to Richmond, and Buckingham, backed by the hearty Welshman, is in the field, and still his powers increaseth.
Richmond troubles me more near than Buckingham and his rash lady strength. Come, I have learned that fearful commenting is leaden servitor to dull delay. Delay leads impotent and snail-paced beggary. Then fiery expedition be my wing, Jove's Mercury, and herald for a king. Go, muster men, my counsel is my shield. We must be brief when traitors brave the field.
Act 4, Scene 4. Enter Queen Margaret.
So now prosperity begins to mellow and drop into the rotten mouth of death. Here in these confines slyly have I lurked to watch the waning of mine enemies. A dire induction am I witness to, and will to France, hoping the consequence will prove as bitter, black, and tragical. Withdraw thee, wretched Margaret, who comes here?
Margaret hides herself. Enter Queen Elizabeth and the Duchess of York.
Ah, my poor princes, ah, my tender babes, my unblown flowers, new appearing sweets, if yet your gentle souls fly in the air and be not fixed in doom perpetual, hover about me with your airy wings and hear your mother's lamentation.
Hover about her, say that right for right hath dimmed your infant morn to aged night.
So many miseries have crazed my voice that my woe-wearied tongue is still and mute. Edward Plantagenet, why art thou dead?
Plantagenet doth quit Plantagenet. Edward for Edward pays a dying debt.
Wilt thou, O God, fly from such gentle lambs, and throw them in the entrails of the wolf? When didst thou sleep when such a deed was done?
When holy Harry died, and my sweet son.
Dead life, blind sight, poor mortal living ghost, woes seen, world's shame. graves due by life usurped, brief abstract and record of tedious days, rest by unrest on England's lawful earth, unlawfully made drunk with innocent blood.
Ah, that thou wouldst as soon afford a grave as thou canst yield a melancholy seat.
If ancient sorrow be most reverend, give mine the benefit of seniority.
Margaret makes her presence known.
If sorrow can admit society, tell over your woes again by viewing mine. I had an Edward, till a Richard killed him. I had a husband, till a Richard killed him. Thou hadst an Edward, till a Richard killed him. Thou hadst a Richard, till a Richard killed him.
I had a Richard too, and thou didst kill him. I had a Rutland too, thou hopest to kill him.
Thou hadst a Clarence too, and Richard killed him. From forth the kennel of thy womb hath crept a hellhound that doth hunt us all to death. That dog that had his teeth before his eyes, to worry lambs and lap their gentle blood, that excellent grand tyrant of the earth that reigns in galled eyes of weeping souls, that foul defacer of God's handiwork, thy womb let loose to chase us to our graves. O upright, just, and true disposing God, how do I thank thee that this carnal cur preys on the issue of his mother's body, and makes her pew fellow with others moan.
O Harry's wife, triumph not in my woes. God witness with me, I have wept for thine.
Bear with me, I am hungry for revenge, and now I cloy me with beholding it. Thy Edward, he is dead that killed my Edward. Thy other Edward dead to quit my Edward. Young York, he is but boot, because both they matched not the high perfection of my loss. Thy Clarence, he is dead that stabbed my Edward, and the beholders of this frantic play, the adulterate Hastings, Rivers, Vaughan, Grey, untimely smothered in their dusky graves. Richard yet lives, hell's black intelligencer, only reserved their factor to buy souls and send them thither. But at hand ensues his piteous and unpitied end. Earth gapes, hell burns, fiends roar, saints pray to have him suddenly conveyed from hence. Cancel his bound-up life, dear God, I pray, that I may live and say, the dog is dead.
No, thou didst prophesy the time would come that I should wish for thee to help me curse that bottled spider, that foul bunch-backed toad. O thou well-skilled in curses, stay a while, and teach me how to curse mine enemies.
Forbear to sleep the nights, and fast the days. Compare dead happiness with living woe. Think that thy babies were sweeter than they were, and he that slew them fouler than he is. Bettering thy loss makes the bad causer worse. Revolving this will teach thee how to curse.
My words are dull, O quicken them with thine.
Thy woes will make them sharp and pierce like mine.
Margaret exits.
The trumpet sounds.
Enter King Richard and his entourage, including Catesby. The Duchess blocks his path.
Who intercepts my expedition?
Though she that might have intercepted thee by strangling thee in her accursed womb from all the slaughters, wretch, that thou hadst done.
Hiddest thou that forehead with a golden crown, where should be branded, if that right were right, the slaughter of the prince that owed that crown, and the dire death of my poor sons and brothers? Tell me, thou villain slave, where are my children?
Thou toad, where is thy brother Clarence?
Where is gentle Rivers, Vaughan, Grey?
Where is kind Hastings?
Either be patient and entreat me fair, or with the clamorous report of war, thus will I drown your exclamations.
Art thou my son?
Aye, I thank God, my father and Joseph.
Then patiently hear my impatience.
Madam, I have a touch of your condition which cannot brook the accent of reproof.
Oh, let me speak.
Then do, but I'll not hear.
I will be mild and gentle in my words.
And brief, good mother, for I am in haste.
Art thou so hasty? I have stayed for thee, God knows, in torment and in agony.
And came I not at last to comfort you?
I prithee, hear me speak.
You speak too bitterly.
Hear me a word, though I shall never speak to thee again.
So,
either thou wilt die thy God's just ordinance, ere from this war thou turn a conqueror, or I with grief and extreme age shall perish, and never more behold thy face again. Therefore take with thee my most grievous curse, which in the day of battle tire thee more than all the complete armour that thou wearest. My prayers on the adverse party fight, and there the little souls of Edward's children whisper the spirits of thine enemies, and promise them success and victory. Bloody thou art, bloody will be thy end. Shame serves thy life, and doth thy death attend.
The Duchess of York exits.
Though far more cause, yet much less spirit to curse abides in me. I say amen to her.
Elizabeth starts to exit.
stay, madam. I must talk a word with you.
I have no more sons of the royal blood for thee to slaughter. For my daughters, Richard, they shall be praying nuns, not weeping queens, and therefore level not to hit their lives.
You have a daughter called Elizabeth, virtuous and fair, royal and gracious.
And must she die for this? Oh, let her live, and I'll corrupt her manners, stain her beauty, slander myself as false to Edward's bed, throw over her the veil of infamy. So she may live unscarred of bleeding slaughter, I will confess she was not Edward's daughter.
Wrong not her birth, she is a royal princess.
To save her life, I'll say she is not so.
Her life is safest only in her birth.
And only in that safety died her brothers.
Lo, at their births good stars were opposite.
No, to their lives ill friends were contrary.
All unavoided is the doom of destiny.
True, when avoided grace makes destiny. My babes were destined to a fairer death if grace had blessed thee with a fairer life.
You speak as if that I had slain my cousins.
Cousins indeed, and by their uncle cozened of comfort, kingdom, kindred, freedom, life, whose hand sore that launched their tender hearts, thy head all indirectly gave direction.
Madam, so thrive I in my enterprise and dangerous success of bloody wars, as I intend more good to you and yours than ever you or yours were by me harmed.
What good is covered with the face of heaven to be discovered that can do me good?
The advancement of your children, gentle lady.
Up to some scaffold, there to lose their heads.
Unto the dignity and height of fortune, the high imperial type of this earth's glory.
Flatter my sorrow with report of it. Tell me what state, what dignity, what honor canst thou demise to any child of mine?
Even all I have, I and myself and all, will I withal endow a child of thine.
Be brief, lest that the process of thy kindness lasts longer telling than thy kindness's date.
Then know that from my soul I love my daughter.
My daughter's mother thinks it with her soul.
What do you think?
That thou dost love my daughter from thy soul. So from thy soul's love didst thou love her brothers, and from my heart's love I do thank thee for it.
Be not so hasty to confound my meaning. I mean that with my soul I love thy daughter, and do intend to make her Queen of England.
Well then, who dost thou mean shall be her king?
Even he that makes her queen. Who else should it be?
What, thou?
Even so, how think you of it?
How canst thou woo her?
That would I learn of you as one being best acquainted with her humour.
And wilt thou learn of me?
Madam, with all my heart.
Send to her by the man that slew her brothers a pair of bleeding hearts. Thereon engrave Edward and York. then happily she will weep. Therefore present to her, as sometime Margaret did to thy father, steeped in Rutland's blood, a handkerchief which, say to her, did drain the purple sap from her sweet brother's body, and bid her wipe her weeping eyes withal. If this inducement move her not to love, send her a letter of thy noble deeds. Tell her thou madest away her uncle Clarence, her uncle Rivers, aye, and for her sake madest quick conveyance with her good Aunt Anne.
You mock me, madam. This is not the way to win your daughter. Look, what is done cannot be now amended. Men shall deal unadvisedly sometimes, which after hours give leisure to repent. If I did take the kingdom from your sons, to make amends, I'll give it to your daughter. If I have killed the issue of your womb, to quicken your increase, I will beget mine issue of your blood upon your daughter. A granddame's name is little less in love than is the doting title of a mother. They are as children but one step below, even of your metal, of your very blood, of all one pain, save for a night of groans endured of her for whom you bid like sorrow. Your children were vexations to your youth, but mine shall be a comfort to your age. The loss you have is but a son be king, and by that loss your daughter is made queen. I cannot make you what amends I would, therefore accept such kindness as I can. Dorset, your son, that with a fearful soul leads discontented steps in foreign soil, this fair alliance quickly shall call home to high promotions and great dignity. The king that calls your beauty's daughter wife familiarly shall call thy Dorset brother. Again shall you be mother to a king, and all the ruins of distressful times repaired with double riches of content. What, we have many goodly bays to see. The liquid drops of tears that you have shed shall come again, transformed to orient pearl, advantaging their love with interest of 10 times double gain of happiness. Go then, my mother, to thy daughter go. Make bold her bashful years with your experience. Prepare her ears to hear a wooer's tale. Put in her tender heart the aspiring flame of golden sovereignty. Acquaint the princess with the sweet silent hours of marriage joys. And when this arm of mine hath chastised the petty rebel, dull-brained Buckingham, bound with triumphant garlands will I come and lead thy daughter to a conqueror's bed, to whom I will retail my conquest won, and she shall be sole victorious, Caesar's Caesar.
What were I best to say? Her father's brother would be her lord? Or shall I say her uncle, or he that slew her brothers and her uncles? Under what title shall I woo for thee, that God, the law, my honor, and her love can make seem pleasing to her tender years?
Infer fair England's peace by this alliance,
which she shall purchase with still lasting war.
Tell her the king that may command entreats.
Give at her hems which the king's cane forbids.
Say she shall be on high and mighty queen.
To veil the title as her mother doth?
Say I will love her everlastingly.
But how long shall that title ever last?
Sweetly enforce unto her fair life's end.
But how long fairly shall her sweet life last?
As long as heaven and nature lengthens it.
As long as hell and Richard likes of it.
Say I am her sovereign, am her subject, lo.
But she, your subject, loathes such sovereignty.
Be eloquent in my behalf to her.
An honest tale speeds best being plainly told.
Then plainly to her tell my loving tale.
Plain and not honest is too harsh a style.
Your reasons are too shallow and too quick.
Oh no, my reasons are too deep, and dead poor infants in their graves.
Hop not on that string, madam, that is past.
Hop on it still shall I till heartstrings break.
Now by George, my garter and my crown.
Profaned, dishonored, and the third usurped.
I swear.
By nothing, for that is no oath. Thy George profaned hath lost his lordly honor. Thy garter, blemished, pawned his knightly virtue. Thy crown usurped, disgraced his kingly glory. If something thou wouldst swear to be believed, swear then by something that thou hast not wronged.
Then by myself.
Thyself is self-misused.
Now by the world.
'Tis full of thy foul wrongs.
My father's death.
Thy life hath it dishonored.
Why then by God.
God's wrong is most of all. If thou didst fear to break an oath by him, the unity the king my husband made, thou hadst not broken, nor my brothers died. If thou hadst feared to break an oath by him, the imperial metal circling now thy head had graced the tender temples of my child. And both the princes had been breathing here, but now two tender bedfellows for dust thy broken faith hath made the prey for worms. What canst thou swear by now?
The time to come.
That thou hast wronged in the time or past, for I myself have many tears to wash her after time, for time past wronged by thee. Swear not by time to come, for that thou hast misused ere used, by times ill-used or past.
As I intend to prosper and repent, so thrive I in my dangerous affairs of hostile arms. Myself confound. Heaven and fortune bar me happy hours. Day yield me not thy light, nor night thy rest. Be opposite all planets of good luck to my proceedings. If with dear heart's love, immaculate devotion, holy thoughts, I tender not thy beauteous princely daughter. In her consists my happiness and thine. Without her follows to myself and thee, herself, the land, and many a Christian soul, death, desolation, ruin, and decay. It cannot be avoided but by this. It will not be avoided but by this. Therefore, dear mother, I must call you so. Be the attorney of my love to her. Plead what I will be, not what I have been. Not my deserts, but what I will deserve. Urge the necessity and state of times, and be not peevish found in great designs.
Shall I be tempted of the devil thus?
Aye, if the devil tempt you to do good.
Shall I forget myself to be myself?
Aye, if yourself's remembrance wrong yourself.
Yet thou didst kill my children.
But in your daughter's womb I bury them, where, in that nest of spicery, they will breed selves of themselves to your recomfiture.
Shall I go win my daughter to thy will?
And be a happy mother by the deed?
I go. Write to me very shortly, and you shall understand from me her mind.
Bear her my true love's kiss. And so, farewell.
Queen Elizabeth exits.
Relenting fool and shallow, changing woman.
Enter Ratcliffe.
How now, what news?
Most mighty sovereign, on the western coast rideth a puissant navy. To our shores throng many doubtful, hollow-hearted friends, unarmed and unresolved to beat them back. 'Tis thought that Richmond is their admiral, and there they haul, expecting but the aid of Buckingham to welcome them ashore.
Some light-foot friend, post to the Duke of Norfolk, Ratcliffe thyself or Catesby. Where is he?
Here, my good lord.
Catesby, fly to the Duke.
I will, my lord, with all convenient taste.
Ratcliffe, come hither. Post to Salisbury, when thou comest thither. Dull, unmindful giving, why stayest thou here and goest not to the Duke?
First, mighty liege, tell me your highness's pleasure, what from your grace I shall deliver to him.
O true, good Catesby, bid him levy straight the greatest strength and power that he can make, and meet me suddenly at Salisbury.
I go.
Catesby exits.
What, may it please you, shall I do at Salisbury?
Why, what wouldst thou do there before I go?
Your highness told me I should post there.
My mind is changed.
Enter Stanley.
Stanley, what news with you?
None good, my liege, to please you with the hearing, nor none so bad but well may be reported.
Hoy day a riddle, neither good nor bad? What needest thou run so many mile about when thou mayest tell thy tale the nearest way? Once more, what news?
Richmond is on the seas.
There let him sink, and be the seas on him. White-livered runagate, what doth he there?
I know not, mighty sovereign.
Well, as you guess.
Stirred up by Dorset, Buckingham, and Morton, he makes for England, here to claim the crown.
Is the chair empty? Is the sword unswayed? Is the king dead, the empire unpossessed? What heir of York is there alive but we? And who is England's king but great York's heir? Then tell me, what makes he upon the seas?
Unless for that, my liege, I cannot guess.
Unless for that he comes to be your liege, you cannot guess wherefore the Welshman comes? Thou looks revolt and fly to him, I fear.
No, my good lord, therefore mistrust me not.
Where is thy power then to beat him back? Where be thy tenants and thy followers? Are they not now upon the western shore, safe conducting the rebels from their ships?
No, my good lord, my friends are in the north.
Cold friends to me. What do they in the north, when they should serve their sovereign in the west?
They have not been commanded, mighty king. Please, if your majesty, to give me leave, I'll muster up my friends and meet your grace where and what term your majesty shall please.
Aye, thou wouldst be gone to join with Richmond, but I'll not trust thee.
Most mighty sovereign, you have no cause to hold my friendship doubtful. I never was, nor never will be false.
Go then and muster men, but leave behind your son, George Stanley. Look your heart be firm, or else his head's assurance is but frail.
So deal with him as I prove true to you.
Stanley exits. Enter messenger.
My gracious king, in Kent, my liege, the Guilfords are in arms, and every hour more competitors flock to the rebels, and their power grows strong.
Enter second messenger.
My lord, the news I have to tell your majesty is that by sudden floods and fall of waters Buckingham's army is dispersed and scattered, and he himself wandered away alone, no man knows whither.
Hath any well-advised friend proclaimed reward to him that brings the traitor in?
Such proclamation hath been made, my lord.
Enter third messenger.
Your Majesty, Sir Thomas Lovell and Lord Marquis Dorset, to said my liege in Yorkshire, are in arms. But this good comfort bring I to your highness. The Breton navy is dispersed by tempest. Richmond in Dorsetshire sent out a boat onto the shore to ask those on the banks if they were his assistants, yea or no. Who answered him they came from Buckingham upon his party. He, mistrusting then, hoisted sail and made his course for Brittany.
March on, since we are up in arms, if not to fight with foreign enemy, yet to beat down these rebels here at home.
Enter Catesby.
My liege, the Duke of Buckingham is taken. That is the best news. That the Earl of Richmond is with a mighty power landed at Milford is colder tidings, yet they must be told.
Away toward Salisbury. While we reason here, a royal battle might be won and lost. Someone take order Buckingham be brought to Salisbury. The rest march on with me.
Act 5, Scene 1. At Salisbury. Enter Buckingham, Ratcliffe, and guards. Buckingham is being led to his execution.
Will not King Richard let me speak with him?
No, my good lord.
Thus Margaret's curse falls heavily on my neck. When he, quoth she, shall split thy heart with sorrow, remember Margaret was a prophetess. Come, lead me, officers, to the block of shame. Wrong hath but wrong, and blame the due of blame.
Act 5, Scene 2. Richmond's encampment at Tamworth. The general addresses his troops.
Fellows in arms and my most loving friends, bruised underneath the yoke of tyranny, and we marched on without impairment thus far into the bowels of the land. And here receive we from our father Stanley lines of fair comfort and encouragement. The wretched, bloody, and usurping boar that spoiled your summer fields and fruitful vines, swills your warm blood like wash, and makes his trough in your emboweled bosoms. This foul swine is now even in the centre of this isle, near to the town of Leicester, as we learn. From Tamworth thither is but 1 day's march. In God's name, cheerly on, courageous friends, to reap the harvest of perpetual peace by this one bloody trial of sharp war.
Act 5, Scene 3, King Richard's war tent at Leicester. Enter Richard, Norfolk, and Ratcliffe.
My lord of Norfolk.
Here, most gracious liege.
Norfolk, we must have knock, sir, must we not?
We must both give and take, my loving lord.
Here will I lie tonight, but where tomorrow? Who hath described the number of the traitors?
6 or 7,000 is their utmost power.
Why, our battalia trembles that account. Besides, the king's name is a tower of strength which they upon the adverse party want. Come, noble gentlemen, let us survey the vantage of the ground. Let's lack no discipline, make no delay. For, lords, tomorrow is a busy day.
Outside of Richmond's war tent, just after sunset, enter Richmond and Dorset.
The weary sun hath made a golden set, and by the bright track of his fiery car gives token of a goodly day tomorrow. Lord Dorset.
Dorset comes forward.
Limit each leader to his several charge, and part in just proportion our small power. Yet one more thing, good captain, do for me. Where is Lord Stanley quartered, do you know?
His regiment lies 1/2 mile, at least, south from the mighty power of the king.
If without peril it be possible, sweet Dorset, make some good means to speak with him, and give him from me this most needful note.
Richmond hands Dorset a note.
Upon my life, my lord, I'll undertake it, and so God give you quiet rest tonight.
Good night, good Lord Dorset.
King Richard's war tent. Enter Richard, Norfolk, and Catesby.
What is o'clock?
It's supper time, my lord. It's 9 o'clock.
I will not sup tonight. It's all my honor laid.
It is, my liege, and all things are in readiness.
But Norfolk, hie thee to thy charge. Use careful watch, choose trusty sentinels.
I go, my lord.
Stir with the lark tomorrow, gentle Norfolk.
I warrant you, my lord.
Norfolk exits.
Catesby.
My lord.
Send out the pursuivant at arms to Stanley's regiment. Bid him bring his power before sunrising, lest his son George fall into the blind cave of eternal night.
Exit Catesby. Richmond sits in his war tent preparing. Enter Stanley.
Fortune and victory sit on thy helm.
All comfort that the dark night can afford be to thy person, noble father-in-law. Tell me, how fares our loving mother?
I, thy attorney, bless thee from thy mother, who prays continually for Richmond's good. So much for that. The silent hours steal on, and flaky darkness breaks within the east. In brief, for so the season bids us be, prepare thy battle early in the morning, and put thy fortune to the arbitrament of bloody strokes and mortal starring war. I, as I may, that which I would I cannot, with best advantage will deceive the time and aid thee in this doubtful shock of arms. But on thy side I may not be too forward, lest being seen thy brother, tender George, be executed in his father's sight. The leisure and the fearful time cuts off the ceremonious vows of love and ample interchange of sweet discourse, which so long sundered friends should dwell upon. God give us leisure for these rites of love. Once more, adieu. Be valiant, and speed well.
I'll strive with troubled thoughts to take a nap, lest leaden slumber pease me down tomorrow when I should mount with wings of victory.
Farewell.
Stanley exits. Richmond says a prayer.
O thou, whose captain I account myself, look on my forces with a gracious eye. Put in their hands thy bruising irons of wrath, that they may crush down with a heavy fall the usurping helmets of our adversaries. Make us thy ministers of chastisement, that we may praise thee in the victory. To thee I do commend my watchful soul.
Richmond sleeps. Richard's war tent. The king sleeps. He is visited by the ghosts of his victims.
Let me sit heavy on thy soul tomorrow, I that was washed to death with fulsome wine, poor Clarence, by thy guile betrayed to death. Tomorrow in the battle think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword, despair and die.
Let me sit heavy in thy soul tomorrow, rivers that died at Pomfret, despair and die.
Think upon Grey, and let thy soul despair.
Think upon Vaughan, and with guilty fear let fall thy lance. Despair and die.
Bloody and guilty, guiltily awake, and in a bloody battle end thy days. Think on Lord Hastings, despair and die.
Dream on thy cousins, smothered in the tower. Let us be led within thy bosom, Richard, and weigh thee down to ruin, shame, and death. Thy nephews' souls bid thee despair and die.
Richard, thy wife, that wretched Anne, thy wife, that never slept a quiet hour with thee, now fills thy sleep with perturbations. Tomorrow in the battle think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword, despair and die.
The last was I that helped thee to the crown. The last was I that felt thy tyranny. Oh, in the battle think on Buckingham, and die in terror of thy guiltiness. Dream on of bloody deeds and death. Fainting despair, despairing yield thy breath.
Richard awakens.
Give me another horse! Bind up my wounds! Have mercy, Jesu! Softer. I did but dream. O coward conscience, how dost thou afflict me? The lights burn blue, it is now dead midnight. Cold fearful drops stand on my trembling flesh. What do I fear? Myself? There's none else by. Richard loves Richard, that is, I and I. Is there a murderer here? No. Yes, I am. Then fly. What, for myself? Great reason why, lest I revenge. What, myself upon myself? Alack, I love myself. Wherefore, for any good that I myself have done unto myself? Oh no, alas, I rather hate myself for hateful deeds committed by myself. I am a villain. Yet I lie. I am not. Fool, of thyself speak well. Fool, do not flatter. My conscience hath 1,000 several tongues, and every tongue brings in a several tale, and every tale condemns me for a villain. Perjury. Perjury in the highest degree. Murder. Stern murder in the direst degree. All several sins, all used in each degree. Throng to the bar, crying all guilty. Guilty! I shall despair. There is no creature loves me, and if I die, no soul will pity me. And wherefore should they, since that I myself find in myself no pity to myself? Methoughts the souls of all that I had murdered came to my tent, and every one did threat tomorrow's vengeance on the head of Richard.
Enter Ratcliffe.
My lord.
Zounds, who is there?
Ratcliffe, my lord, 'tis I. The early village clock hath twice done salutation to the morn. Your friends are up, and buckle on their honour.
O Ratcliffe, I have dreamed a fearful dream. What thinkest thou, will our friends prove all true?
No doubt, my lord.
O Ratcliffe, I fear. I fear.
Nay, good my lord, be not afraid of shadows.
By the Apostle Paul, shadows tonight have struck more terror to the soul of Richard than can the substance of 10,000 soldiers, armed in proof and led by shallow Richmond.
Richmond's war tent. Richmond has awakened. Enter Dorset.
Good morrow, Richmond. How have you slept, my lord?
The sweetest sleep and fairest boding dreams that ever entered in a drowsy head have I since your departure had, my lord. How far into the morning is it?
Upon the stroke of 4.
Why then 'tis time to arm and give direction.
Richmond addresses his army.
The prayers of holy saints and wronged souls, like high-reared bulwarks, stand before our faces. Richard except, those whom we fight against had rather have us win than him they follow. For what is he they follow? Truly, gentlemen, a bloody tyrant and a homicide, one raised in blood and one in blood established, one that made means to come by what he hath, and slaughtered those that were the means to help him. A base, foul stone, made precious by the foil of England's chair where he is falsely set, one that hath ever been God's enemy. Then if you fight against God's enemy, God will in justice ward you as his soldiers. If you do sweat to put a tyrant down, you sleep in peace, the tyrant being slain. If you do fight against your country's foes, your country's fat shall pay your pains the higher. If you do fight in safeguard of your wives shall welcome home the conquerors. If you do free your children from the sword, your children's children quit it in your age. Then in the name of God and all these rights, advance your standards, draw your willing swords. For me, the ransom of my bold attempt shall be this cold corpse on the earth's cold fist. But if I thrive, the gain of my attempt, the least of you shall share his part thereof. Sound drums and trumpets boldly and cheerfully, God and St. George, Richmond and victory.
Richard's war tent. Enter Norfolk.
Arm, arm, my lord. The foe vaunts in the field.
Come, Bustle, Bustle, comparison my horse. Call up Lord Stanley, bid him bring his power. I will lead forth my soldiers to the plain, and thus my battle shall be ordered. My forward shall be drawn out all in length, consisting equally of horse and foot. Our archers shall be placed in the midst. They thus directed, we will follow in the main battle, whose precincts on either side shall be well winged with our chiefest horse. This and St. George to boot. What thinkest thou, Norfolk?
A good direction, warlike sovereign.
Richard addresses his army.
What shall I say more than I have inferred? Remember whom you are to cope withal. A sort of vagabonds, rascals, and runaways, a scum of Bretons and base lackey peasants, whom their o'er-cloyed country vomits forth to desperate ventures and assured of destruction. You sleeping safe, they bring to you unrest. You having lands and blessed with beauteous wives, they would restrain the one, disdain the other. And who doth lead them but a paltry fellow, long kept in Brittany at our mother's cost, a milksop, one that never in his life felt so much cold as overshoes in snow. Let whip these stragglers o'er the seas again, lash hence these overweening rides of France. These famished beggars wearier their lives, who, but for dreaming on this fond exploit, for want of means, poor rats, had hanged themselves. If we be conquered, let men conquer us. Then not these bastard Bretons, whom our fathers have in their own land beaten, bobbed, and thumped, and in record left them the heirs of shame. Shall these enjoy our lands, lie with our wives, ravish our daughters? Hark, I hear their drum. Fight, gentlemen of England! Fight, bold yeomen! Draw, archers, draw your arrows to the head. Spur your proud horses hard, and ride in blood. Amaze the welcome with your broken staves. Norfolk, what says Lord Stanley? Will he bring his power?
My lord, he doth deny to come.
Off with his son George's head.
My lord, the enemy is past the marsh. After the battle, let George Stanley die.
1,000 hearts are great within my bosom. Advance our standards! Set upon our foes! Our ancient word of courage, fair St. George, inspire us with the spleen of fiery dragons. Upon them, victory sits on our helms.
Act 5, Scene 4. The battle is at its height. Richard fights boldly on, despite his horse having been shot from underneath him.
A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!
Withdraw, my lord. I'll help you to a horse.
Sleeve, I have set my life upon a cast, and I will stand the hazard of the die. I think there'll be 6 Richmonds in the field. 5 have I slain today instead of him. A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!
Enter Richmond. Richard spots him. They fight. Richmond delivers 3 blows of his sword to Richard's head, killing him.
God and your arms be praised, victorious friends. The day is ours. The bloody dog is dead.
Enter Stanley. He has retrieved the crown of England.
Courageous Richmond, well hast thou requicked thee. Lo, here this long usurped royalty from the dead temples of this bloody wretch have I plucked off to grace thy brows withal. Wear it, enjoy it, and make much of it.
Great God of heaven, say amen to all. But tell me, is young George Stanley living?
He is, my lord, and safe in Leicester town, whither, if it please you, we may now withdraw us.
What men of name are slain on either side?
John, Duke of Norfolk, Walter, Lord Ferrers, Sir Robert Brackenbury, and Sir William Brandon.
Inter their bodies as becomes their births. Proclaim a pardon to the soldiers fled, that in submission will return to us. And then, as we have ta'en the sacrament, we will unite the white rose and the red. Smile, heaven, upon this fair conjunction, that long have frowned upon our enmity. What traitor hears me and says not Amen? England hath long been mad and scarred herself. The brother blindly shed the brother's blood. The father rashly slaughtered his own son. The son compelled been butchered to the sire. All this divided York and Lancaster, divided in their dire division. Oh, now let Richmond and Elizabeth, the true succeeders of each royal house, by God's fair ordinance conjoin together, and let their heirs, God, if thy will be so, enrich the time to come with smooth-faced peace, with smiling plenty and fair, prosperous days. Abate the edge of traitors, gracious Lord, that would reduce these bloody days again and make poor England weep in streams of blood. Let them not live to taste this land's increase, that would with treason wound this fair land's peace. Now civil wounds are stopped, peace lives again. That she may long live here, God say Amen.